he would tie the record.
That would be pretty incredible. By the way, Mark, we talk about turtles when you hear that on this circuit. A quick explanation of what those are. This was actually developed by Speedway Motorsports and the Vice President of Operations and Development, Steve Swift. These are plate steel bumps in the racetrack, if you will, and they're different geometrical designs. Some are taller than the others. When you hit these plate steel bumps, they're designed not to move. They're secured into the racetrack. They will upset the race car. Not only will they upset the race car, they progressively get larger the further you go inside. You can not only throw tires up off the ground, if a car lands on those, you could destroy the underside of the race car. These are very intimidating.
Famous shot, I believe it was Daniel Suarez last year, got pushed into the turtles. The car launched straight up in the air and nearly came down like an arrow right into the ground.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. Pat Patterson, we're about to get the Bank of America Roval 400 underway.
Lights off on the pace car. Here's how the top 10 will start. Row number 5, Ross Chastain outside, A.J. Allmendinger inside. Row 4, Chase Briscoe with his teammate Christopher Bell. Row 3, Michael McDowell and Chris Buescher. Row 2, Kyle Larson and Ty Gibbs. On the front row, it's Shane Van Gisbergen and Tyler Reddick. They're ready to pull the trigger at the Roval.
The Toyota GR Super Pace car is on pit road. Shane Van Gisbergen opts for driver's left. This is opposite of what we've seen all weekend long. The green flag is out here in the Bank of America Roval 400. Tyler Reddick, actually the pole sitter from the outside. He will take him into turn 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There might have been a little bit of contact there, or if Shane Van Gisbergen spun the tires, but it is easily Tyler Reddick, your race leader, through turn number 2. About 2 car lengths over SVG. Kyle Larson third. Everybody cleaned up. We got a car at the rear of the field. Stop. That's Kyle Busch. They stay green in turn 4.
Leaders off of turn number 4, and it's Tyler Reddick with about a 5-car length advantage over Shane Van Gisbergen. And now climbing the top of the hill is Kyle Larson. He has that 3rd spot.
And Tyler Reddick squiggles through turn 6, down the hill and down through the gearbox too, as the top 10 try to get single file. Kyle Busch got back going at turn 1 as Tyler Reddick smokes his tires, and Michael McDowell misses turn 7. He shoots out of it like a rocket and loses several spots there into turn number 8.
Tyler Reddick already a 3-car length advantage over Shane Van Gisbergen. As a matter of fact, they've got themselves a 10-car length advantage over 3rd place running Kyle Larson. Side by side further back, that's Chase Briscoe in the machine of Michael McDowell.
Up front, it's all Reddick through the chicane now, exiting onto the number 13 banking as they work with Van Gisbergen about 5 car lengths behind. Tough battle there for that 3rd spot. Once again, looking at Kyle Larson under attack from Ty Gibbs.
Tyler Reddick into the front stretch chicane, downshifting into 2nd gear, hangs left, now back to the right, jumps the curb as he swings back to the left. He'll lead lap number 1 in the Bank of America Roval 400. Then it's SVG, Larson, Gibbs, Buescher, and McDowell.
Do want to report Kyle Busch got his car out of turn number 1, but there is heavy damage. Tyler Reddick, though, leads the field through turn number 2. It's a healthy advantage, 4 car lengths over Van Gisbergen.
It stays 4 car lengths at the entrance to turn number 4. Those two continue to step away a little bit from Kyle Larson. It's from Ty Gibbs on back where things start to get interesting. Buescher is right there. Michael McDowell with a nice recovery. Those cars pretty much nose to tail as they head to turn 5.
Ty Gibbs, the birthday boy, running in the 4th position under heavy heat from Chris Buescher in turn number 6. As Buescher tries to take a different line there, he's going to try to outbreak him. Michael McDowell's going to try the outside of turn 7 again. Christopher Bell dive bombs his teammate Chase Briscoe there for about the 8th spot.
Very good run out of turn number 7 for Shane Van Gisbergen. He's cut it down to 3 car lengths on your leader, Tyler Reddick. They'll make their way out of turn number 9. Everybody clean, but it's down again to 3 car lengths. Reddick over Van Gisbergen.
Van Gisbergen down through the gearbox now, really goes to the bumper of Reddick midway through turns 10 and 11. Now exit 12, calling about 2 car lengths. Van Gisbergen behind the leader. It's a long way back to Larson in that 3rd spot, and then there's Ty Gibbs.
Kyle Busch pulls his car onto pit road. He's got a broken rear toe link. He's going to have to go to the DVP area. Meanwhile, here comes race leader Tyler Reddick in the front stretch chicane. He makes the final left-hander of turn number 17. Chased hard by Shane Van Gisbergen back into 1.
Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen is not going to let Tyler Reddick walk away and lead early on. He's going to put the pressure on through turn number 2. They both bend those cars to the left, swooping downhill. Short little straightaway. Now both hard on the brakes for the right-hander of turn 3.
Oval portion of the the roval is where Shane Van Gisbergen seems to have been able to get a bit of an advantage. Reddick seems a little stronger in the infield portion. He bumps it up to about 4 car lengths off in turn number 4.
You got to think that Shane Van Gisbergen in second place could be just playing with Reddick a little bit there, especially trying to manage these tires. They're down the hill into turn number 6, smoothly in fact, as Van Gisbergen makes a move under him in turn number 7. He has to back down, almost hits the tire pack at the apex of the turn, and Reddick gets the pull off of turn 8 and will keep the lead for now, Michael Young.
They're nearly side by side. Tyler Reddick sees that fishing line of Shane Van Gisbergen throwing out into the water. Van Gisbergen starting to track him down. Shane Van Gisbergen only 2 car lengths ahead of our leader, Tyler Reddick.
Down through the gearbox once again, entered left to turn 10, back to turn 11, and exit turn number 12. Here they come back up onto the banking. Van Gisbergen, about 3 car lengths of separation between first and second, a long way back to Kyle Larson.
SVG turning up the heat on leader Tyler Reddick. They dive into turn 15. Now as they look at the hard right-hander, turn 16, back to the left across the line. The gap now just 2 car lengths. Van Gisbergen on the charge in turn 1.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive passing attempt down in turn 7. Van Gisbergen couldn't get it done. He's right in the tire tracks of Reddick, this time through turn number 2, as close as he's been. Call it a car length as they both get hard on the brakes for turn 3.
That battle stays tight. That's the battle for the lead. The front 2 checking out a little bit. Kyle Larson still has plenty of company. Ty Gibbs trying to track him down as they all exit turn number 5. The leaders climb the hill toward turn number 6.
It's about a car length advantage for Tyler Reddick, the pole sitter, who takes a little bit of a different line through turns 5 and 6 than Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen closer to the apex of 6. Let's see what he does in 7. This time he squares off the corner, but can't quite get the rubber down, and Reddick keeps the spot there as Van Gisbergen saves the car length back.
Hats off to Tyler Reddick. He is doing a fantastic job holding off this road course ace of Shane Van Gisbergen. This time Van Gisbergen takes the left sides below the white and blue line, closes it down to 2 car lengths.
Now he'll stay in that spot and go in the tire tracks of Reddick. Looking a little further back. Now here comes Van Gisbergen. He gets a little bit better run out of turn 30 up onto the banking at 13. Side by side for the lead. In 13, now to 14. Both drivers not giving an inch. It's a battle for the lead going back to 15.
They are door-to-door coming to the front stretch chicane. Shane Van Gisbergen, driver's right. That's the inside corner in turn number 16. Shane Van Gisbergen takes the lead for the first time here in the Bank of America Roval 400. We now have 4 laps complete as they head back to 1.
That was impressive. You don't see a lot of passing attempts out of that backstretch chicane, but you also don't see a lot of road racers quite like Shane Van Gisbergen. Tyler Reddick's going to try to mount the challenge back, hanging right on the back bumper through turn 3.
And that battle tightening up a little bit has allowed Kyle Larson to kind of draw a bead on him. He was about 4 car lengths back now as he starts to fade a little bit in the exit of turn number 4. Leaders make the right-hand turn and climb the hill.
Even though we've had a pass for lead, you've got to think that these contending drivers are biding their time and saving their tires, seeing how long they can run. Larson in the 3rd spot, about 5 car lengths back of Reddick in 2nd as they all approach turn 7. Chris Buescher a little more aggressive into that turn, pulling up from 5th spot on Ty Gibbs in 4th as they all exit back onto the banking.
Tyler Reddick gets that number 2 pencil out, sits down at the school desk, and goes to learning on that road course ace of Shane Van Gisbergen. But boy, Van Gisbergen has already climbed to a 10-car length advantage over Tyler Reddick. Kyle Larson in the 3rd position.
Right behind this group in about the 8th or 9th spot, you got Chase Briscoe and his teammate Christopher Bell. They have been tightly racing as they do right now. Out of turn 12, up onto the banking of 13. No change up front. Van Gisbergen leads. That's a good race between those 2 guys as Briscoe leads Bell.
They'll come back to the line, 5 laps complete. SVG right there, a very aggressive but clean pass of Tyler Reddick. And I've had fans talk to me like, why doesn't somebody take out SVG? He hasn't created enemies. When he has made passes on the road courses, he has gone by cleanly. And a lot of times drivers might be even amazed that he hasn't roughed anybody up or didn't rough them up in very tight quarters. You can't make a pass with the way SVG passed Reddick. I mean, it's a fine line. You got just inches to spare. And because he does it the clean way, there's nobody out there really going like, I owe him one.
The decision-making by Shane Van Gisbergen on the racetrack is second to none, Mark, and all he knew he needed to do. There are 17 turns on this circuit. you're going to bobble on one of them at some point. If he could focus and make perfect laps, all he needed to do was wait for the opportunity, and the way Reddick went into the backstretch chicane, it forced him to overslow just a little bit, and that's when Shane Van Gisbergen was able to pounce, and now he is the new leader. Let's give you a leaderboard update brought to you by Hunt Brothers Pizza, where we love racing and we love pizza. Find your next pizza at huntbrotherspizza.com or download the Hunt Brothers Pizza app.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the leader. Tyler Reddick is second. Kyle Larson third. Fourth is Ty Gibbs. Fifth, Chris Buescher. Michael McDowell is sixth. Seventh, Chase Briscoe. Christopher Bell eighth. A.J. Allmendinger ninth. Ross Chastain in 10th.
Bubba Wallace runs 11th. Ryan Blaney is 12th. Chase Elliott 13th. 14th is William Byron. Daniel Suarez 15th. 16th, Denny Hamlin. Austin Cindric's been moving up. He's 17th now. Ty Dillon 18th. 19th is Joey Logano. And Brad Keselowski rounds out the top 20 here at the Roval.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Napa know-how.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR. From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
Today's broadcast brought to you in part by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
It's a drag race for the race lead. We're racing here in Las Vegas.
The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Vegas.
Bowman on the inside, Austin Cindric on the outside. He'll cut the nose on Alex Bowman, right on his back bumper as they head into one.
Wow, he comes off two like shot out of a cannon. He goes right around Cindric. Now he'll go after Logano.
It is Chevy versus Toyota. Toyota on the inside with Bubba Wallace. He cuts down to the apron.
A South Point 400, Sunday, October 12th at 4:30 Eastern on PRN. Saturday, October 11th. The NASCAR Xfinity Series heads to Vegas.
Jesse Love goes and cuts down in front of Josh Williams. There's Austin Hill, cannot get the outside line going.
Now he drives up beside Jesse Love. Sam Mayer is going to lead that lap as the pack heads back to one.
Ryan Sieg moving all over the racetrack, upside, downside.
It's the Focus Tel 302. Saturday, October 11th at 7 Eastern on PRN. Saturday, October 11th at 7 Eastern on PRN.
A moment ago, coming out of the right-hand turn, number seven, Christopher Bell said, "Aha, I got you, Chase Briscoe." And then A.J. Allmendinger said, "No, I got you both." He drove inside, moved up 2 spots, so put the dinger right now all the way up to 7th from 9th.
Kyle Larson just took away second from Tyler Reddick. Reddick's overslowing just a little bit. Behind Tyler Reddick, you've got Ty Gibbs with a heavy push from Chris Buescher right behind him.
Yeah, it's a pack of wolves trying to now run down Tyler Reddick. Gibbs has got his own problems, though, in the 4th spot. That's Chris Buescher, who's looking inside and outside, right there, Mark, inside the top 5.
Larson had been leading that pack for a while. There were about 4 cars running together. Then once Larson made the pass, he started to check out a little bit. But yeah, Ty Gibbs got Buescher, and also Michael McDowell is the exit for number 5.
McDowell, who does not have a good record at the Roval here, is there in that 5th position there, or 6th position rather, as they come through turn number 6. Now they're downshifting hard on the brakes into this 180-degree switchback. Elbows out of this elbow point at turn 7, but these cars all maintain position. Larson there in 2nd.
Gibbs does a nice job, goes to the wall, and Chris Buescher will stay right behind him. We'll call that a half car length. Michael McDowell lost a ton exiting turn number 7. This is the battle for that 4th position as they make their way down into turn number 10.
Let's see what Gibbs does as he enters turn 10 hard to the left, now back to the right. smoothly through there. He gets a good exit off of turn at number 12. Busher unable to make any kind of move there. Good separation between those two now.
SVG creeping away. The gap is now over 3 seconds back to Kyle Larson. Let's sweep pit road first with Alan Cavana.
Well, both Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace came into this race below the cut line, and both are struggling to make any progress early on in this race. Bubba on the radio came on and just said, look, it's lap 6. I'm already struggling out there with the handling. Similar sentiment for Ross Chastain on the radio. He says on the infield part of this course, the turns 5 and 6, the real road course part of this track, he's just getting way too loose and losing the rear tires on the car. That's what they want to try to keep as long as possible for some speed, Wendy Venturini.
Kyle Larson is my top performing car right now, running second out there. No feedback from Kyle Larson, but the team has given him feedback on what areas of the racetrack he's a little bit stronger or what turns he's a little bit faster than his competition. Kyle Larson came into this event 54 points to the good, so a little bit of cushion, but we know anything can happen in this last round of 8 before we have the cutoff after today's race. Kyle Larson looks to be strong early on. Brett McMillan.
Joey Logano came in 7 points to the good, but he has not moved up at all since the start of this race. Right now, he said he's tight on the right turns, loose on the left turns, as he's sitting back nearly in the 20th spot. Also, Ryan Blaney said that he is lacking forward drive, and A.J. Allmendinger says that he is losing time moving into oval turn number 1.
Thank you very much, Brett, Wendy Venturini, and Alan Cavana. Shane Van Gisbergen continues to lead. This time by will have 15 laps to go in stage number 1. That's when the Toyota GR Super will come back out during the caution flag and pace the field. We are joined now in the booth by Mike Pricer, Senior Manager, Gazoo Racing and Toyota Motor North America. And Mike, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been an honor, and one of my favorite races of the year is the Roval.
All right, before we talk about what Toyota's got going on, I will say both Mark and myself are Toyota drivers. I've got a brand new 4Runner hybrid, which I love. It's amazing the upgrades to that new generation of vehicle. And Mark, well, he's put a lot of miles on a nice Camry.
I got 80,000 miles on my Camry hybrid. Love the car, man. I have fallen in love with driving again. Love the electronics, all the radar, all the cool stuff in the car. And so I drive to New Hampshire. I drive to Nashville. I just love driving my Camry.
Those are fantastic stories to hear. And at 80,000 miles, you're just breaking it in.
That's what I'm told.
That's exactly right. Well, let's talk about things happening this race weekend. It looked like you guys had a lot of programs with Toyota in the area. Can you tell us about the local outreach heading into the Roval weekend?
Yeah, so last week we partnered with the NASCAR Foundation and our local Charlotte area Toyota dealers to put together a bike build. It's over 100 bikes we put together for the local community, and it was to support the Raise the Children of the Carolinas. And on top of that is they were met with drivers Tanner Gray and Corey Heim. And then also leading into on Friday was a great STEAM event that Charlotte Motor Speedway put on there, and we had a guest speaker from our battery plant in North Carolina come and talk about what they do there, and they were met with Chase Briscoe there too as a nice surprise. And you know, as far as like the bike builds go, this is the 3rd year we've done this with the NASCAR Foundation. We're able to do it in Richmond and Kansas, and it's so great to see the local community of dealers come together to support their local kids. And it's one of those events that we do. We never have to ask for volunteers. We have to stop it because we usually get too many hand raised. So it's always special and near dear to our hearts.
All right, hang tight for just a minute, Mike. We got some pit stops happening here under green. We heard Denny Hamlin say drivers might actually split this 25-lap stage. Alan Cavana.
And that's what we saw. We saw Austin Cindric start it. The rest have started to follow. Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, both in my section, on and off pit road. Wendy, how about you?
Right now, William Byron just came down pit road for 4 tires and Sunoco fuel at lap 11. At lap 10, 1 lap prior to that, Daniel Suarez was on pit road for 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. Brett McMillan.
Ryan Blaney's been in and out. They gave him an air pressure adjustment and a 9.7 second stop for him.
Kyle Busch coming back out onto the track after having an issue on lap number 1. We're joined by Mike Pricer from Gazoo Racing with Toyota. And let's talk about the incredible start to the playoffs for Team Toyota. 3 different Joe Gibbs drivers winning each of the 3 races in the first round of the playoffs. And looks like you have a lot that are going to advance here today.
Yeah, it was definitely a great start to the playoffs, and I don't think you could ask for much more. But as I said, it's just the start, and there's a lot of work to do left. during the playoffs, that first run, we talked about Denny Hamlin won our 200th Cup victory for Toyota, and it was fitting for him as many moments with Denny, including our first Daytona 500 win. And then, of course, Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, who's pitting right now, off to great starts and really, really strong seasons. And then, of course, 2311, when we saw Bubba kiss the bricks in Indy, and Tyler Reddick, who got the pole and is in contention here and fighting for it. Really, really exciting all around. And then on the Xfinity side, is last night, Taylor just missed it by a point.
Oh, man, that was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, but such is there. But got Brandon Jones going on. Then in trucks, what can you say anymore about Corey Heim, right? As Heim time, 10th victory of the year. I was actually told today, I haven't fact-checked this, but he's actually clinched his way to Phoenix already, from what they told us. So really, really proud of all the drivers, especially the developmental drivers coming through, all the work and effort they put through. And it should be an exciting end of the season for us.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. And again, as a couple of fellow Toyota drivers, day to day, we appreciate what the brand has done and just the incredibly reliable and great cars that you guys build.
Awesome. Thank you for having us, and let's have a great race today.
All right, thank you. Mike Pricer joining us from Toyota. Mark?
SVG has not pitted yet. A number of cars had. So what does he do, Brad? He picks up his pace. He was running laps about a minute 30 and change. He went down to a minute 29. It's like I'm gonna burn up what's left of these tires, and then I'm gonna hit pit road. Van Gisbergen right now 4.5 seconds ahead of Larson, 8.1 ahead of Tyler Reddick.
We've had a handful of front runners who have not yet come down pit road, but we've had a handful more who did as well. Alan Cavana, what more did you see in your section?
Well, Michael McDowell from a top 5 spot came in. Ross Chastain, a playoff driver, trying to get some points in advance. He's been in and off pit road. Some have come down. Some are still out there riding it out as long as they can. Worried that tires won't be there later in the race if they come this early, Wendy Venturini.
Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs have all been down pit road at lap 13, one lap ago. Also coming down pit, there was 4 tires Sunoco fuel for all of them. Now, also coming down pit road is Kyle Larson in just a second. Here's the interesting story on this. Cliff Daniels, the crew chief for Kyle Larson, just swapped the tires. They had sticker tires on pit wall. He made the call, and they're putting the scuffs on from their qualifying tires. Cliff Daniels just hopped off the pit box. That's how I know Kyle Larson is getting ready to hit pit road. Brett McMillan.
All right, we've got Joey Logano's been in and on. He got 4 fresh tires, Goodyear Sunoco fuel, and he has also got an 9.8 second stop. SVG is going to be here in a second. He also, Wendy Venturini, is going to get himself some scuffed tires. He's heading down pit road right now. The crew was on the wall waiting for him to arrive. He has said nothing at all on the radio about how this car is handling, so we'll put these scuffed tires as he comes to a stop in his pit stall. Wendy.
Kyle Larson comes down, those 4 scuffed tires going onto his machine with Sunoco fuel. Cliff Daniels was a little bit frustrated. There are so many fans and so many people, working personnel around this pit area. It is very crowded. He's trying to get him out of the way, Brett McMillan.
And a great stop for SVG's crew. It was an 8.7 second stop, 4 tire change, and he hits back out.
This coming with 11 laps to go. They went 14 laps. Some other drivers pitted on lap 11, 12. They went 14.
And as Mark said, 11 to go here in stage number 1 of the Bank of America Roval 400 yet to pit. Chris Buescher, Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace has yet to pit, Brad Keselowski, Zane Smith. A lot of these are going to cycle through here in the first stage. Denny Hamlin told us during the pre-race show, he told our pit reporters, Brett McMillan talked to him, that look, we can go the full 25 laps on Sunoco race fuel. We don't know that we want to go on tires. And Mark, when it comes to the tire allotment that they had coming into this race, they have 8 total sets of dry tires. They also have a wet weather option should we need it. 7 of those are brand new sticker sets. 1 are the scuffs. If you're going to burn your scuffs, now is the time to do it, as we're going to be coming down just to 10 laps to go here in stage 1.
Man, if we get yellow flags, we could have a situation at the end. Some have the fresh tires, some don't. We'll just have to see how this deck of cards shuffles out later on today here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, at this point, Chris Buescher has not pitted. He is now the new leader, followed by Reddick. And as he works his way out of turn 2, let's pick him up in turn 3.
At the exit of turn number 3, Buscher pretty much all by his lonesome. Reddick trying to catch up, and he's about 10 to 12 car lengths behind. He slides a little bit. You can tell the grip's starting to go away on that race car a little bit. He gets to the wide side of the setup in turn number 5.
And down the hill, up and down the hill through turn 5, it's going to be a sloping right-hander for Chris Buscher, who goes down the hill and then hard on the brakes and downshifting into turn 7, making that 180-degree turn with no pressure from Tyler Reddick about 7 car lengths back. Chris Buscher is back on the banking. Need to mention that Shane Van Gisbergen pitted but came out 4th. That's how far ahead he was.
Chris Buscher has done a great job in this first stage managing his Goodyear tires. Tyler Reddick started to see the fall off about 4 laps ago as everybody started to go by. That being said, he's doing a fantastic job running this first stage and getting through this many laps.
Here's Buscher in his Ford working back up onto the banking, out of 12 onto 13, right at the top of the racetrack. We'll see if he gets woed up here and heads to the pit road or not. He is going to try to get As a matter of fact, he stays in the gas for another lap, guys.
Yeah, Chris Buscher stays on the racetrack, as does Tyler Reddick. Again, we are going to have 9 laps to go here in stage number 1. If you look a little further back on the racetrack, that's where you find Shane Van Gisbergen. He's actually running in the 3rd spot, having come down pit road. Bubba Wallace, who is not pitted, is right behind him. Then you have Kyle Larson. He's been down pit road. Ty Gibbs and just a whole host of cars. Brad Keselowski right now feeling a lot of pressure from Zane Smith, who now has Christopher Bell to his inside.
Yeah, Keselowski and Zane Smith have both gone long. They haven't pitted. They are on worn tires, and we're watching some of these guys on fresh tires carve their way through. That includes Christopher Bell. Got really tight with Ross Chastain as well. Mark James, they're all into turn 3.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting when you have these cars on fresh tires. They get surrounded by cars that aren't on fresh tires. It makes the go awfully tough. Although Christopher Bell, he breaks away, as does Ross Chastain now as they exit turn 5.
They were briefly 3 wide. Chase Briscoe, as Brad Keselowski almost lost it right there, just goes thundering by on fresh rubber. The leader, Chris Buscher's in turn 9 right now, Michael Young, as this gaggle of cars is exiting that slow turn 7.
It's amazing how they made it through without taking each other out. I think the best of those was Chase Briscoe. He did a fantastic job. So did Christopher Bell. They'll start working their way through turn number 8, turn number 9 as we head back to the front of the field.
Yeah, right up front there watching Kyle Larson work his way into turn number 10, back to 11 and 12. Behind him is Ty Gibbs right now in his machine. A little further back is where you find Christopher Bell. Here's Van Gisbergen now back to turn 15.
So Christopher Bell, the leader, is 2.9 seconds up on Reddick, and Van Gisbergen now is closed within 11. Let's get an update from Alan Cavana.
Well, Chris Buscher has not pitted yet, and they came on the radio a few laps ago, mind you, and saying the new tires hadn't provided a huge advantage yet. We're starting to see that advantage grow and grow on how fast the new tires are, but that's why the 17 car is still out there. Bubba Wallace's crew, his crew chief, told Bubba that, look, we want to save tires for later on in the race, and coming down now, it may cost us later. They're planning on the end of this race, not right now.
Thank you, Alan. 8 laps to go in stage number 1 of the Bank of America Roval 400. Chris Buscher leads Tyler Reddick by 3 seconds. Shane Van Gisbergen runs 3rd. Kyle Larson and Ty Gibbs round out the top 5.
Hey, here's the hot dogs. What did I miss?
The leader took the inside track on turn 4. Basically a pretty sweet bump and run.
Awesome. Then what?
Someone caught about a foot of air in the hairpin on turn 7. Stayed off the wall, though.
Nice. What else?
Oh, there was a slingshot that led to a lead change. Almost a crash.
That it?
I think so.
Seems about right. It is only lap 3.
Celebrate the race that brings us together. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Proud sponsor of the Bank of America Roval 400. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
This is Kyle Petty for Echo Park Automotive. As you might imagine, I know a thing or two about cars, and I'm here to tell you about a whole new way to buy a car, truck, or SUV. Did you know that Echo Park Automotive has over 95,000 5-star reviews? On top of that, every car that Echo Park Automotive sells goes through a 190-point inspection to make sure that it looks and drives like new, so you leave happy. It's even in their name, Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. The official used car dealer of Speedway Motorsports.
Tyler Reddick, who has yet to pit, was just passed for 2nd by Shane Van Gisbergen with 7 to go in stage number 1. Bass Pro Shops voted America's best outdoor retailer. Your adventure starts here. From the Roval, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Your adventure starts here. From the Roval.
Get your NASCAR fix with PRN's Garage Pass.
It's hard to just turn it around in 1 week, but I wouldn't be shocked if we did.
I don't think the results have been what we have hoped for or expected, but I think the potential in the cars and the speed has been pretty good.
You know, it's a big deal already, so that's a big positive for us. So I think now it's just about working together and getting better.
I think the Penske cars are still elite when it comes to plate racing.
Hi, I'm Mark Garrow, tracking the latest racing news every weekday.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
We're back at the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chris Buescher, the leader. Van Gisbergen has nearly caught him. The big loser right now, Tyler Reddick. Larson passed him, Gibbs passed him, Bell passed him. He may drop out of the top 10 after not changing tires. Let's go to Wendy Venturini.
So earlier when we had Cliff Daniels off the pit box for Kyle Larson, he came down to inspect the tires. They came off the car at lap 14. Keep in mind they put scuffs, the qualifying scuff tires, onto the car. There was a big concern about tire wear. Cliff Daniels came down and inspected every tire. I didn't see any blisterings. I watched Cliff Daniels kind of give his approval. The tires didn't look so bad this first time around, but I think it's a brilliant move that they put scuffed tires on their race car on this first time down pit road.
Doug Turnbull, we have a new leader.
Shane Van Gisbergen, having pitted, has passed Chris Buescher, who did not. They're on the back straightaway right now in the eyes of Pat Patterson, but SVG to the lead with fresher tires.
Yeah, he's pulling away. Buescher's doing the best he can right now. He's going to be under attack here shortly. Kyle Larson and the rest of that company not too far behind him. Talking about Ty Gibbs and also Christopher Bell. Here's the leader back to 15.
Well, once Shane Van Gisbergen comes across the start-finish line, we'll have 5 to go here in stage number 1. Shane Van Gisbergen will lead Chris Buescher. That's your number 2 driver. In fact, Van Gisbergen has already pulled away by several car lengths from Chris Buescher. Buescher has yet to pit. Kyle Larson, who has pitted, he now runs in 3rd. 4th is Ty Gibbs. 5th, Christopher Bell. Tyler Reddick continues to drop down. He had actually dropped a few spots, so Ross Chastain now moves up to 6th. Michael McDowell 7th. Tyler Reddick drops to 8th. A.J. Allmendinger in 9th. 10th is Ryan Blaney.
Chase Briscoe 11th. 12th, Daniel Suarez. Chase Elliott 13th. 14th, William Byron. Ty Dillon 15th. 16th, Denny Hamlin. Joey Logano 17th. 18th, Alex Bowman. Then you have Cole Custer 19th, 20th, Ryan Preece.
Bubba Wallace drops down to 21st. 22nd is Carson Hocevar. Zane Smith 23rd. 24th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Justin Haley is 25th. 26th, Eric Jones. He started at the back after having steering issues yesterday. Riley Herbst 27th. Brad Keselowski 28th. Josh Berry 29th. Austin Dillon in 30th.
31st, Todd Gilliland. Noah Gragson 32nd. Cody Ware 33rd. John Hunter Nemechek 34th. Austin Cindric 35th. Josh Berlicki 36th. They are all on the lead lap after getting roughed up in turn 1 on lap 1. Kyle Busch had to go to the garage area. He's now 10 laps down.
That leaderboard update brought to you by eBay. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for. From smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain, get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Christopher Bell moves up another spot with a pass up there in turn number 13. And right now, this race has only 4 laps to go here in stage number 1. Shane Van Gisbergen comfortably out front.
And Mark, we are actually now 2 laps away from pit road closing. Chris Buescher has stayed out. This would be the time that if you were going to short pit the stage traditionally, you would make sure you came in with about 3 laps to go. It's hard to try and plan that for 2 laps to go when someone like Shane Van Gisbergen can drive away to a 4.5-second lead. So let's see if Chris Buescher, if Scott Graves is going to keep him on a traditional road course pit strategy and short pit him with about 3 to go before the end of a stage.
SVG again has been knocked out of the playoff. So right now it's all about winning for him. I expect him to pit. and give up the lead yet again.
Other question is, how many other drivers are they splitting the stage, and will they again short pit the stage as well? We're going to find out pretty soon as we watch the leaders go around the racetrack. Shane Van Gisbergen, again, he's got a nice commanding 4.5-second lead. He is actually coming out of the backstretch chicane, followed by Kyle Larson, Mark.
Ross Chastain in 6th. Remember, he started this race 13 points under the cut line. I think he hangs out. He may get some stage points. He may be able to move up the ladder if some of these guys decide to pit.
Currently, he is sitting +7, but we won't know the true measure of that until we get to the final stage of the race. All right, Chris Buescher now peeling off the racetrack. He'll bring that 5th third bank Ford Mustang. Also, it looks like A.J. Allmendinger is coming in. We'll start things off with Alan Cabana.
And Chris Buescher was able to hang on to a top 5 position without pitting, so he's pitting much later than everybody else as the crew goes around to the right side of the car. Remember, he's one of the best next-gen road course racers that we have in the series. Chris Buescher is onto the left side, on and off pit road.
Brett McMillan.
We got Ryan Blaney, his first one in at my end of pit road. He's getting 4 tires, and they're coming around to the left side. Everything going smooth for Ryan Blaney so far. He's going to have some other cars to deal with as he tries to pull out of his pit stall. He gets out smoothly. 12.9-second stop. Tyler Reddick now in for the first time. They're going to fill him up with Sunoco fuel, 4-tire change. He felt like the right side was completely gone in his car. He pulls out a 9.4-second stop for Tyler Reddick.
So now the decision comes for Shane Van Gisbergen and his team. He's 5 seconds ahead of Kyle Larson. He has to pit this time. If he's going to short pit, he's got to jump onto pit road this time. Pat, he's heading towards you.
Yeah, he's back in the throttle here up to 13, but he won't get out of that here for another about 2 to 3 seconds. Let's see if he's going to pull it into the pit area. No, stays in the gas. Back around to you guys.
Pit road will close when Shane Van Gisbergen hits the start-finish line before the end of stage number 1. That's going to keep every other driver from being able to pit. Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, a couple of teams that have actually come down pit road twice in stage number 1. The leader is back in 1.
Having a more traditional feel and strategy for Shane Van Gisbergen. Carves his way through turn number 2. A massive lead over Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, and Christopher Bell all giving chase. Shane Van Gisbergen in turn 4.
Yeah, all by his lonesome right now as he exits turn number 4. He gets the right side to that red-white curbing, and now he makes the wide arc off of turn number 4. Setting up for turn number 5, and as he sets up for 5, Larson's just now exiting turn number 4.
Yeah, that's about the number of seconds he is ahead of Larson there. SVG, yeah, you know me, down the hill through turn 6. Not far ahead of him is playoff contender Austin Cindric, who's been well off the pace and made at least 2 pit stops today. Shane Van Gisbergen exits that slow bender turn 7, back onto the banking, well on the lead.
Just amazing to see Shane Van Gisbergen and his craft here at the Roval, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He is already exiting turn number 9. Second place running Kyle Larson just now entering turn number 9. A massive lead for Shane Van Gisbergen.
Van Gisbergen negotiates the chicane very simply. 1, 2, 3, he's gone. Up, excuse me, into the banking of 13 and 14. No problems for Shane.
Massive gap behind him. Clear racetrack ahead. Shane Van Gisbergen off the banking down into turn 15, slightly to the left. Now hard to the right, cuts the curb, jumps over it. Also, as he makes the left-hander, does the same thing. 1 lap left in stage number 1 for the Bank of America Roval 400.
Nice and smooth for Shane Van Gisbergen to turn number 1. Just no wiggle. That car looks absolutely planted, leaving turns 1, cresting the hill, and bending his way down through turn number 2. SVG about a half a lap away, Mark James, from a stage win.
Obviously, the field strung out throughout all 17 turns, but there are clusters of cars putting on a pretty good show for the race fans. Pretty good battles going on, especially when you have those who are on fresh tires and those who are on worn tires. The leader, he is a full go now across turn number 6.
He's through 6 right now, about a half a mile ahead of Kyle Larson in second. Ty Gibbs is giving Larson to run for his money there, but they're not going to race it too hard down the hill as they put their tires near the dirt at turn 6 and then hard on the brakes right now into turn 7 as Shane Van Gisbergen's up on the banking. Kyle Larson is exiting that slow left-hander in second place from turn 7 into 8.
Shane Van Gisbergen already exiting turn number 9, but it's the machine of Ty Gibbs trying to give a little run for Kyle Larson. He's closed it down to about 3 car lengths. That will be the battle for that second position. But Shane Van Gisbergen already through the chicane.
We'll follow that battle for second position as they get in and out of turn 10, 11, and 12. Van Gisbergen is going to be safe back to the line, and there's not going to be any passing for that second or third spot here as we get back to the checkered flag.
He'll see the green and white checkered flag. Shane Van Gisbergen will win stage number 1 of the Bank of America Roval 400. He does it by more than 7 seconds over second place running Kyle Larson. Ty Gibbs will finish third in stage number 1, followed by Christopher Bell in fourth. Ross Chastain able to make up spots. He finishes fifth, followed by Michael McDowell in sixth. Then we have Chase Briscoe finishing 7th. 8th is going to be Chase Elliott. 9th, William Byron. 10th will be Ty Gibbs as we go down to Wendy Venturini.
Well, Cliff Daniels just told Kyle Larson over the radio he felt they needed about 8 points to lock him into the round of 8, and that's exactly what just happened. So there is a strong possibility now that Kyle Larson is locked into the round at 8 with this stage end, and I did see a lot of the crew guys give each other high five when they heard that on the radio.
Thank you very much, Wendy. 54 points above the cut line is what he came in. Now a second place finish in stage number 1. Great reporting there. Do want to clean up. Ty Dillon finished 10th. Ty Gibbs finished 3rd in that stage. Great run for Ty Dillon. And that was eBay stage number 1. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR. From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
After a devastating storm that brings down trees and homes, so many families have nowhere to turn. That's why Samaritan's Purse responds immediately after hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and fires all across the country. Our volunteer teams bring tools and compassion to homeowners who have lost not only possessions, but more importantly, hope. You can help. Join with Samaritan's Purse. Log on to samaritanspurse.org.
Today's broadcast sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today. SVG has won stage 1 of the Bank of America Roval 400, and you're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Brett McMillan. The opinions fly fast and furious each week on the Pit Reporters.
Every other major league sport has a playoff system, so I think the playoff system should stay. I do think there's maybe slight middle ground where there could be some changes that are made.
I do remember seasons where this championship had been decided well before the last few races, so it just isn't quite the same vibe that we have now.
Join us each week for the Pit Reporters.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
So Shane Van Gisbergen has won 4 road course races in a row, but that stage win was only his 3rd of the season. He won the 2nd stage at Mexico, 2nd stage at Sonoma, and now stage 1 in the Bank of America Roval 400.
Here's what I can't help but wonder. I do not want to put the cart before the horse. There's a lot of racing to go. We don't see people do a clean sweep of a road course race. They say it can't happen. You might be able to win a stage and win the race. You might be able to win stage 1 and win the race. You can't win both stages and win the race. Well, Shane Van Gisbergen may prove us wrong. We're going to find out by the end of this one.
And that's where the tire wear comes in. And with the tires giving up as much time, we saw normally we wouldn't see a pit stop in that stage or 2 pit stops in that stage. So I think the tire wear is going to play into giving SVG the chance to sweep everything today, if that's possible.
So we see a lot of tires on the wall. Van Gisbergen and Kyle Larson pitted on lap 14. We are right now on lap 26. Ty Gibbs pitted on lap 12, as did Bell, Chastain, and McDowell. Briscoe pitted on lap 11. Chase Elliott, William Byron, Ty Dillon, all of them pitted on lap 11. You go back to A.J. Allmendinger on lap 16. They're the first car in the running order that took a traditional route of when you would short pit a stage on a road course. They did that on lap 22. So if everyone who pitted mid-stage comes in, that would cycle A.J. Allmendinger to the lead, Chris Buescher to second, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez. But that's a but. Right now they're coming out of the backstretch chicane. They're showing pit road is closed right now, but they still have time to open it. They just opened it. The light went green on pit road. It's going to be interesting to see if we see a whole host of cars come down here, Mark, at this stage 1 break.
So the lights right now flashing on that Toyota GR Supra pace car. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com. Jesse Dollavoot is at the controls of the pace car as always on the Cup Series. Today our NASCAR starter is Brett Dalton.
All right, here we go. Shane Van Gisbergen down low on the white and blue line. That designates the apron to the racetrack, and Van Gisbergen will lead the field down to pit road. Let's start things off with Alan Cavana.
Well, Ross Chastain is the first pit stall here. He finished 5th in that stage and picked up valuable spots on the cut line there. He still needs help with some rear grip, but like that last set of tires, they're going to put 4 new ones on and make a small adjustment, Wendy Venturini.
Kyle Larson was struggling on grip. He's going to get 4 tires. It's stickers this time for Kyle Larson. Also on pit road, we had Denny Hamlin with 4 tires and Sunoco Fuel. Brett McMillan.
Money stop right now for Shane Van Gisbergen as far as he's concerned. 4 tires, 10.3 second stop. It may not have been the quickest though. And Joey Logano said that he wants some more rear grip. He also got the 4 tires stopped. And there's a little problem at the exit of pit road, it looks like, for Ross Chastain.
Chastain swung out wide, not sure what happened there. Kyle Larson was the first off a pit lane. Then it was SVG. Then Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs. They were the first 4 off the pit lane. We'll re-rack the lineup when we come right back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ross Chastain overshot the exit of pit road after he crossed the timing line. We'll see where they let him line up for the restart before we get into Cheddar's stage number 2. Stage 2 presented by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen. Cheddar's is the official restaurant of RCR and the number 8 car. Cheddar's serves home-style comfort food like homemade chicken pot pie, slow-smoked baby back ribs, and hand-breaded chicken tenders at prices that won't break the bank. From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me every Monday night for another great episode of Fast Talk.
I watched the race on TV, and they wanted to give him the mantle of greatest of all time, and he's won 4 races in a row, and so I can't do that yet. But I do think what we're watching is a guy who's changing the sport. He's changing the way the other drivers approach road racing. He's making them study. He's making them up their game.
That's Fast Talk right here on the Performance Racing Network.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
A very curious exit on pit road after that pit stop for Ross Chastain. Nobody hit him. He just drove straight off almost into the barrier.
Yeah, the great thing for Chastain, he had already crossed the pit road exit timing line, so he was able, even though he lost a bunch of spots by cars going by him, because they passed that timing line, he exited the pits before them. Mark, it looks like they're going to allow him to stay. And
they're letting cars go by him now. He's going backwards.
So, yeah, now he's going to have to line up behind the 21. So,
wow.
We'll give you a full field rundown. He was staying out there a long time, and NASCAR was not saying anything, so finally they made that ruling.
This leaderboard brought to you by Napa. Napa, your business's one stop for stopping power. Get the brakes and suspension parts you need right now at Napa.
We're going to give you a leaderboard update. These are the cars that had not pitted. In fact, the top 10 cars right now pitted right before the end of stage number 1. A.J. Allmendinger leads the Bank of America Roval 400. Chris Buescher runs second. Ryan Blaney is third. Fourth, Daniel Suarez. Fifth is Alex Bowman. Tyler Reddick in sixth. Cole Custer seventh. Bubba Wallace eighth. Ninth, John Hunter Nemechek. 10th, Austin Cindric.
11th is Kyle Larson. Shane Van Gisbergen 12th. 13th, Christopher Bell. Ty Gibbs 14th. 15th, Ross Chastain. Michael McDowell 16th. 17th, William Byron. Chase Elliott 18th. 19th, Joey Logano. Ty Dillon 20th.
And 21st is Ryan Preece. Denny Hamlin 22nd. 23rd, Justin Haley. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 24th. 25th, Carson Hocevar. Chase Briscoe 26th. Eric Jones 27th. 28th, Austin Dillon. Riley Herbst in 29th. Josh Berry in 30th.
31st spot goes to Cody Ware. Brad Keselowski 32nd. Noah Gragson 33rd. Zane Smith 34th. 35th, Todd Gilliland. Josh Bilicki 36th. 37th, Kyle Busch.
Ross Chastain will drop back to 30th as we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Pat Patterson, they're stacking up in front of you.
Lights are off on the pace car. We are ready up here on the front row. A.J. Allmendinger and Chris Buescher up here ready to light the fuse and get her going again. Ryan Blaney is also up here in the front with Daniel Suarez. Here goes the pace car to the pit road. We are ready to resume at the Roval.
They're about to enter the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Every car, happy owner, Echo Park Automotive. A.J. Allmendinger will lead them into that restart zone. Green flag is back out. Stage number 2 underway in the Bank of America Roval 400. The Dinger gets out of there in a hurry.
A rocket launch for A.J. Allmendinger into turn number 1. He will easily clear the rest of the pack and take the top spot. Ryan Blaney followed him, blowing a right past Chris Buescher. He'll take second. Buescher now trying to hold off Daniel Suarez in the 3.
Midway point of that stage is when A.J. Allmendinger really started to flex some muscle and move his way up through the field. He's already opened up a 4-car length advantage over Blaney. Then it's Buescher. Then it's Daniel Suarez. Then Tyler Reddick as they all exit turn 5.
And the cars on tires are flying. Shane Van Gisbergen has gone 3 wide twice on this lap, trying to get up into the top 7 or so. The leader, A.J. Allmendinger, goes through turn 7, hard on the brakes. Daniel Suarez takes Chris Buescher too wide as he dive bombs that turn.
The winner for 2023 already has a 3-car length advantage, but the driver we're watching, Shane Van Gisbergen, has gone from 12th to the 7th position. What a great start for him. A.J. Allmendinger with a 6-car length advantage over Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, he's got the lead, and Van Gisbergen picks up another spot as they dive into turn number 10, 11, and 12. Here's AJ back up through the gearbox now as he climbs the 24-degree banking, keeps his car down at the very bottom of the racetrack. Top 5 cars nose to tail.
In one lap, Shane Van Gisbergen might get into the top 5 after starting 11th. 2023 Roval winner A.J. Allmendinger leads the field through the front stretch chicane. He's followed by Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez. Then you have Tyler Reddick, Shane Shane Van Gisbergen already up to 6.
It's a 5-car breakaway at the front. The only reason those 5 have gotten away is because everybody else has been under attack from Shane Van Gisbergen. He is already up to 6. And now, Mark, he'll put the bullseye on the back of Tyler Reddick, trying to catch him in turn 3.
Yeah, we can see him start to close that gap as he slipped in front of your position just inside of that first turn. Those front 5 hoping to check away if they can. Van Gisbergen all by his lonesome now as he works toward turn number 5.
Let's note that Tyler Reddick is back into the 5th position after struggling at the end of stage 1 on old tires. The leader, A.J. Allmendinger, was quick in that first stage, and he is hard on the brakes now, making that elbow turn 7 slow turn there and pulling Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, and Daniel Suarez with him.
And for A.J. Allmendinger, already about an 8-car length advantage, and he's going to need it because Shane Van Gisbergen is coming. 8 car lengths right now over Ryan Blaney, so A.J. Allmendinger able to gap that lead. Third place runner is Chris Buescher as they hit the chicane.
A.J. grabs a gear, now another as he works his way to that left, back to the right, now back up onto the banking here, exiting turn number 12, up to 13. 5-car advantage for A.J. right now over the second place running car of Ryan Blaney.
A good dogfight for 7th. Kyle Larson has the spot. Christopher Bell has muscled his way past Alex Bowman. He now will challenge Larson in the front straightaway chicane. Here's Buescher now. He's about to apply some pressure to Ryan Blaney. That's the battle for 2nd.
Yep, they'll get nose to tail into turn number 1. It is Allmendinger, Blaney, Buescher, Suarez, and Reddick. And then those 3 cars that you just touched on that are charging Mark Arrow. It is Van Gisbergen, Larson, and Bell. That's the top 8 into turn 3.
Those front 5 have about equal separation. It's about a car length and a half, but the gap is closing rapidly back to the 6th place running Shane Van Gisbergen. Then it's Kyle Larson, spent the first part of that stage in the top 3. He's being hounded by Christopher Bell into turn number 5.
There in turn 5 now is the leader. Allmendinger's in turn 6. Chris Buescher has a head of steam coming out of 6, and down the hill he charges hard into turn 7. Hard on the brakes, right to the rear bumper of Ryan Blaney, but Blaney takes his line away, and they will still battle it out for the 2nd spot in turn 8.
Good battle as Ryan Blaney gets a nice launch out of turn number 7 through turn number 8. Now entering turn number 9. The sun has come out on the roval, shining on Chris Buescher as he tries to take over the 2nd position from Ryan Blaney.
A.J. up front, Blaney in that 2nd spot, Buescher holding on in the 3rd position. Tight battle amongst those 5 cars. Then it's not that far back to SVG doing his thing now to try to hold off Larson. Here's the leader back midway through 13 and 14.
That leader is A.J. Allmendinger leading Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, and Tyler Reddick. They're all single file. You have to go back a few spots to find Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson, and Christopher Bell, who seems to be the big one on the move. He locks up the brakes in turn 16, makes up the left-hander in turn 17, crosses the start-finish line, and that battle heads back to 1.
Boy, trouble in the front straightaway chicane. Carson Hocevar wheel hops in. He takes out playoff contender Austin Cindric.
Meanwhile, the leader's back to turn number 4. It's A.J. Allmendinger has about a 5-car length advantage now. He's starting to inch away on Blaney. Buescher trying to keep pace. Daniel Suarez with some breathing room. And now we'll pick up that battle between Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell that we were talking about. That's the battle for 7th, Doug Turnbull, as it heads to you.
Which Shane Van Gisbergen in front of them wants to see, but they all get single file now into turn 6. And then in front of them in the 2nd spot, Chris Buescher keeps charging hard into turn 7, but when he puts the throttle down, Ryan Blaney in 2nd spot stays a car length ahead.
Front 5 have a nice breakaway. We'll focus in on Shane Van Gisbergen. His charge to the front has somewhat stalled. Kyle Larson in that 7th position has Christopher Bell there. We'll head back to the front. A.J. Allmendinger, 8-car length advantage.
Now, Allmendinger doing a really good job up here. He's got some separation now, 1st to 2nd. Maybe that's partially for the heat that Blaney was feeling there a moment ago from Buescher, but here's A.J. Allmendinger. He's stretching his lead out midway through 13 and 14.
Austin Cindric will have to come in for repairs when he drove by the start-finish line after that incident with Carson Hocevar. You could see the right rear toe link broken on that car, Mark, and that was a violent hit after Hocevar once again this weekend blew that chicane.
Again, trying to understand what he was thinking. He comes pouring towards that right-hander. He's got smoke pouring off the tires. He's hard on the brakes, jumped the curb, and just destroyed Austin Cindric.
Yeah, pretty intense portion of the racetrack right there. Let's pick up the leaders once again. Mark James, they're wrapping around the corner to you.
And things look a little tighter now from first on back to third place. As a matter of fact, back to fifth place. And don't look now, but here comes that sixth place driver, Shane Van Gisbergen. He's got Kyle Larson in tow. Larson has been able to hold off Christopher Bell for now as that whole round of cars makes its way toward turn 6.
Remember the start of this race, it took Shane Van Gisbergen several laps to catch pole sitter Tyler Reddick. Now Van Gisbergen in 6th is chasing Reddick in 5th as the 88 is starting to come to life there. But the top 10 are very much evenly separated with Allmendinger still in the lead at turn 8.
First through 10, basically evenly matched. The only really good battle right now is that battle for second. Ryan Blaney has it. Chris Buescher wants it. It's about a 3-car length disadvantage for Buescher as they hit the chicane.
That's the way it'll stay as they work their through left hand through turn 10, back to the right in turn 11, then exit turn 12 to 13 up on the 24-degree banking. AJ again pulling about a 10-car lead over the second place car of Ryan Blaney.
So as they come down to the stripe, there is going to be 16 laps to go here in stage number 2. AJ Allmendinger continues to be our leader.
Hi, it's PRN's Brad Gilley. Did you know you could take PRN with you anywhere? That's right. By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live race broadcast from anywhere. Make sure you don't miss a second of the action from the track. Download today for station listings and on-demand access to your favorite studio shows like Fast Talk, The Pit Reporters, or Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app. Download today, available in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
When it comes to maintaining your engine to run at peak performance, trust Z-Max Micro Lubricant. Z-Max soaks into metal, so it's easy to add to your oil or gas to disperse carbon buildup in your engine, fuel system, and transmission. Protect your vehicle's engine to the max with Z-Max. Check us out at zmax.com or visit us on Facebook and Twitter to find out more about our full line of products. Remember the name Z-Max for your car, big rig, small engines, firearms, and more. That's Z-Max Micro Lubricant.
Problem a little bigger for Austin Cindric than just a toe length. They're going to have to go back to the DVP area in the garage as he's doing it right now. Sweepstakes fans, start your entries. Visit echopark.com/speedway to enter for a chance to win a Toyota Tundra plus a brand new Thor camper. Visit echopark.com/speedway now to drive off a winner. It'll be 15 to go in stage number 2. AJ Allmendinger leads Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, and Tyler Reddick, your top 5. From the Roval, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Grab a friend and pack the cooler. Saturday Night Racing returns to North Wilkesboro Speedway October 18th for the Z-Max Cars Tour Championship. See rising stars like Keelan Harvick compete against short track racing's best in season finals for Pro Late Model Stock, and the Smart Modified Tour. Party down North Wilkesboro style with the Z-Max Cars Tour Saturday, October 18th. For tickets, visit northwilkesborospeedway.com.
More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Watching a little game of gotcha last between Shane Van Gisbergen and Tyler Reddick. Van Gisbergen passes him in 7. Reddick comes back around. Van Gisbergen takes him on the back straightaway chicane again.
Now moves Shane Van Gisbergen up into the top 5. We've got 14 to go here in stage number 2. The one I'm still watching, Nick Yeoman. Christopher Bell seems to want that spot from Kyle Larson. It's a battle for 7.
Oh, he's absolutely been hounding him over the last 4 or 5 laps. They are separated by about a car length as they sweep their way through turn number 2. They're both catching Tyler Reddick now into turn 3.
And the front 3 is getting interesting all at the same time, especially that battle for second as Blaney tries to check out on the 17 of Chris Buescher. But yeah, here comes SVG as he climbs the hill at the exit of turn number 5.
Yeah, SVG there right in front of Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, and Christopher Bell. Bell, by the way, smoked his tires in the front stretch chicane, trying to catch Larson. In turn 7 now, Buescher in the 3rd position has caught Blaney again, and Blaney has caught leader A.J. Allmendinger. They almost get too wide in turn 8.
They really bunched up as they exit turn number 8. Now head to turn number 9. Advantage still A.J. Allmendinger. 2 car lanes over second place running Ryan Blaney. Blaney gets a great run as they head to turn number 10.
Now we'll see if he can outbreak the leader. Not going to be able to get it done going into 10. Stays right on his bumper. I'm talking about A.J. Allmendinger, the leader. Blaney fades back now about 2 car lengths. Buescher is right there with him. It's a good ways back there before Van Gisbergen now is taking a good look at the next car he's going to have to get around. Of course, I'm talking about Daniel Suarez.
All right, here we go. Here comes A.J. Allmendinger in the front stretch chicane. 3-car battle for the lead. Ryan Blaney chases him right, left, back onto the front straightaway. Chris Buescher right on the back bumper of Ryan Blaney. Buescher's the one who looks more aggressive here as they head back to 1.
I would 100% agree with that. The only problem, he's just trying to pick his spot and find his way around Ryan Blaney. Blaney looking plenty aggressive in his own right. They are nose to tail. 3-car tussle into the right-hander at turn 3.
And they roar through that Bank of America red, white, and blue canyon as it bends ever so slightly to the right. Now it gets more abrupt, and he gets a really nice launch out of the turn. Does A.J. Allmendinger. He leads by about 3 car lengths into turn number 5.
That wily cat from Los Gatos, California, A.J. Allmendinger. I think he's playing with him and saving his tires as he's got about a half a car length advantage over Blaney. Blaney being hounded by 3rd place Buescher. They're all on the brakes hard. Buescher almost contact with Blaney, almost misses the corner, squares it off, stays right behind the driver of the 12. Allmendinger still leads as Christopher Bell puts the hammer to Tyler Reddick behind them too.
Great run for Chris Buescher out of turn number 8 through turn number 9 they come. He may have a shot this time to take over that 2nd position from Ryan Blaney. He's a car length behind as they head to 10.
Top 3 cars now into turn 10 to the left, back to the right, and now exiting to their right as they work their way up on the 24-degree banking. Once again, Allmendinger by about 3 to 4 car lengths over 2nd place Ryan Blaney, and then there's Chris Buescher.
One of Daniel's amigos, his teammate SVG, closing in. That could be a battle for 4th. Now here is Blaney. He peels off, heads down pit lane. He's going to change his tires with 12 laps to go in this stage. And let's go to Brett McMillan.
And Ryan Blaney heading down pit road very slowly, happy with the car during this run. We'll see what the pit crew has in store for him. They've been very good all day long. And he finally comes to a stop in his pit stall around the right side. Everything going smoothly so far. No adjustments, slight air pressure adjustments, all they're giving him. Around to the left side, filling up on Sunoco Fuel, heading him back out at La Cavana.
Chase Elliott on and off pit road. He was once again one of the first to pit. Bubba Wallace as well, flipping his initial strategy. They were one of the last. Now he's one of the first on this cycle, Brett McMillan.
Tyler Reddick already finished with his service, getting a 4-tire change at Sunoco Fuel. Joey Logano has not been happy with the handling of his car all day long. They gave him a significant air pressure adjustment, 4-tire change, and he's back out.
Now we have A.J. Allmendinger again being threatened by Chris Buescher. Suarez is under fire from SVG. They're on the backstretch.
Let's see what Buescher can do now as he works up to A.J. Allmendinger into turn number 10. Down through the gearbox, here comes A.J. Buescher, unable to make any kind of a move there. Right behind him, though, on the move and making a pass, working his way around Daniel Suarez is Shane Van Gisbergen. He takes that spot, now move him into the 3rd position.
Let's see if the pit cycle continues to stay open on this lap. Both A.J. Allmendinger and Chris Buescher will bypass, as does Shane Van Gisbergen and Daniel Suarez. Even though Suarez got passed for 3rd, he is right on the back bumper of his soon-to-be former teammate, Shane Van Gisbergen, now starting to pull away from Suarez at the start-finish line.
And SVG will set his sights on the front 2, who are running nose to tail through turn number 1. That's A.J. Allmendinger and Chris Buescher. Buescher almost thought about entertaining a pass into turn 2. He'll take a look to the inside of turn 3. Allmendinger closes the door.
He just hasn't gotten much separation through this cycle leading the field, and he hasn't gotten any separation yet. It's about a half a car length now as SVG really starts to draw a bead on the front 2 of the exit of turn 5.
And SVG in 3rd, Van Gisbergen would love to see bigger battle between Buescher and Allmendinger. Got to wonder if the top 2 drivers drivers are saving those tires for pit strategy. They're hard on the binders here into that elbow turn 780-degree switchback. Allmendinger still pulls the high line there. Buescher looks down low but can't get even with him.
Start to wonder if Ryan Blaney was potentially holding Chris Buescher up. He's been able to keep the pace of A.J. Allmendinger, although Allmendinger able to get a good run out of turn number 9. We'll call it 3 car race as they head to the chicane.
Van Gisbergen's in the 3rd spot. Let's see how much time he can make up getting into the chicane now. He gets right to the bumper of Buescher as they exit turn 12 up onto the banking. Van Gisbergen is there. Buescher's got a mirror full of the 3rd place runner. AJ holding on to the front spot.
As they come down to the line, 10 laps to go here in stage number 2. Allmendinger clinging to the lead. Buescher again closes in on the right-hander here in the front straightaway chicane. SVG makes up a lot of ground as well as Larson pressures Suarez for 4th.
Boy, you can officially throw a blanket over the front 3. Allmendinger, Buescher, Shane Van Gisbergen, nose to tail as they bend to the left-hander of turn number 1. They'll stay single file all over each other through turn number 2. Allmendinger opens the door for Buescher. Buescher not able to fill it. Here comes SVG.
And they are literally bumper to bumper, the front 3, as they work their way up in turn number 4. Allmendinger again getting a really good launch out of here. Shane Van Gisbergen looks to the outside, now looks to the inside as it set up at turn number 5.
Battle for the lead, party for 3, boys. A.J. Allmendinger down the hill, the blind right-hander in turn 6. He's going to ride that tightrope there. And then Buescher's going to get outbroken by Shane Van Gisbergen in turn 7. They don't make contact. Buescher with a bigger drive off of the corner in 2nd spot. Van Gisbergen matted down, move him into the 2nd spot.
Great run for Shane Van Gisbergen. Now 1 more car to go, and that's a machine of A.J. Allmendinger. Shane Van Gisbergen with the run. He'll nearly go side by side. He'll dive deep into 10.
Easy peasy, works his way right around A.J. Allmendinger, makes it look oh so good as he takes that spot away. New leader out of turn number 12, back up onto the banking. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen. Behind him is A.J. Allmendinger and Chris Buescher, not far back to Kyle Larson.
9 to go now in stage number 2. A.J. Allmendinger is going to come on to pit road. Shane Van Gisbergen, Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Christopher Bell all stay out.
So you're a Toyota Cup driver and you just made it to the playoffs. Now all you have to do is win. Easy. Just turn left, right? That and start strong, take off, reach 200 miles per hour, maintain a good position, no big deal. Lap again, time your pit stop, steer clear of accidents, talk to your crew chief like your best friend, and most importantly, turn left. Easy, right? You in? Get up to speed at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever?
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Shane Van Gisbergen continues to lead. We have 9 to go in stage number 2. He's coming through the backstretch chicane. We'll see if actually pit cycle opens up for him. Chris Buescher is now running in 2nd. Kyle Larson's putting the pressure on. The last time Van Gisbergen came to pit, that was on lap 27. This time by, he will bypass pit road, as does Chris Buescher. We are stationed to local break. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
No one's paying me to say this, but you've been our lifeline. We have no internet. We have no TV. We barely have cell service. I don't know how I'm able to get to you. My Wi-Fi is not working. And I have a radio, and I finally got power on, and I have it plugged in, and I could hear you. You're the only station I can get in.
Wow. Well,
That's
I'm
why
glad
we're
we're here.
So-
Wow.
The report that we got was that a severe tornado was heading right toward us. And I just want to commend you gentlemen for the job that you're doing, for keeping us informed.
I just wanted to say thank you for being on the radio and guiding us to, where we can get help.
I just want to tell you, the first thing I heard was your voices the next morning. Oh, shoot. And it made me cry. The comfort of hearing your voices.
My respiration, perspiration, and aggravation are sky high, but you guys have been the guiding light.
Your local AM station makes a difference. Your local AM station makes a difference.
Welcome back to the Bank of America Roval 400. Christopher Bell has just moved up into the top 4 as he gets around Daniel Suarez. Shane Van Gisbergen enjoys a more than 3-second lead. He will stay out on the racetrack as this time by we're going to have 7 to go in stage number 2. And let's give you a leaderboard update brought to you by Cheddar's.
Shane Van Gisbergen, your leader. He's led 3 times now for 22 laps and counting. Kyle Larson second. Third, Chris Buescher. Daniel Suarez fourth. Fifth is Christopher Bell. Bell now moves by Suarez to fourth. Suarez down to fifth. Sixth is Michael McDowell. Ryan Preece seventh. William Byron eighth. Ninth, Justin Haley. Ryan Blaney is 10th.
Ross Chastain has been the biggest mover in this stage. He restarted 30th. He's moved up 19 spots. He is 11th. Tyler Reddick 12th. A.J. Allmendinger 13th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 14th. 15th is Chase Briscoe. He's feeling sick today. They've actually given him medicine inside of the race car for nausea. Denny Hamlin is 16th. Brad Keselowski 17th. 18th Chase Elliott. 19th Josh Berry. Ty Gibbs, the birthday boy, is 20th.
And then in 21st, it's going to be Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano 22nd, Alex Bowman 23rd, 24th Cole Custer, Ty Dillon 25th, 26th Austin Dillon, Cody Ware 27th, Todd Gilliland 28th, 29th Eric Jones, Riley Herbst in 30th.
Noah Gragson 31st, 32nd is Zane Smith. Josh Bilicki is 33rd, 34th the last car on the lead lap, John Hunter Nemechek. Carson Hocevar 35th, 1 lap down. He actually took out Austin Cindric coming through the front stretch chicane. Kyle Busch had an incident on lap 1, had to go behind the wall for repairs. He runs 36 -9. Off of the track getting repairs is Austin Cindric, currently being shown in 37th. That Cheddar's leaderboard update brought to you by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, your place for American classics like slow smoke, fall off the plate, baby back ribs, and bourbon glazed salmon, all at prices that won't break the bank. And don't forget the honey butter croissants. Cheddar's, get a lot for not a lot.
Okay, it's going to be subject to change, but one thing that we know, it is going to be a nail biter, it looks like, between Logano and Chastain for the final playoff spot. Right now, as we currently sit, Chastain has the position by just 3 points over Logano. Again, a long way to go, but a quick snapshot here in the middle of the second stage, that's where we sit.
Trackhouse could sweep Charlotte Motor Speedway this year. We talk about Ross Chastain. He blew the exit of pit road coming off of the last pit stop and ended up losing a lot of spots on the track. Had to restart 30th. He's driven his way now back up to 12th. A.J. Allmendinger just got around him. When he won the Coca-Cola 600 earlier this year, Mark, he actually had a backup car to start the race, started 40th on the field. And if this was not the Coca-Cola 600, he wouldn't have been in victory lane because he needed just about all 600 miles to drive his way back up to the front. No strategy other than just a fast car.
And the fact there's no quitting that dog either. I mean, he is going to fight you to the end. And again, it looks like it's setting up to be a nail biter between Logano and Chastain, because now we already have Kyle Larson advancing. Christopher Bell's plus 64. Hamlin currently plus 40. Byron plus 37. Briscoe, a little bit of a danger zone, but he's still plus 18.
Yeah, Christopher Bell potentially could advance by the end of this stage, depending on where we are. He currently runs third, as you mentioned, at plus 64. So very interesting to see what happens. Now I think, Mark, we're about to get back on a traditional pit cycle when it comes to road course racing. Short pitting the stage with about 3 laps to go, maybe 2 to go if you're close enough to the leader. No one's really close enough now to Shane Van Gisbergen to be able to do that, as he enjoys a 6.2-second lead over Kyle Larson, but we've got 5 to go in stage 2.
I'm a little bit curious as to what's going on with Chase Elliott. He is 16th, and again, we have guys on different tire strategies, but he struggled today. This is a guy who's won this race twice, and yet he's mired deep in the pack.
The great thing about this race and the way things are playing out and the stories of this race, we've already had a varying amount of strategy here. Some teams coming in early on lap 11 to get a fresh set of tires. We saw tire wear where they were going down to the cords 13 laps in yesterday in practice. That's mixed it up a lot. If you're Alan Gustafson, maybe you don't have the fastest car. But because of such high tire wear, that's a good thing. We want that. This might be an opportunity for you to pull some kind of wacky strategy that ultimately puts your driver up toward the front. Hey, they won on 4 fresh tires last week at Kansas.
Daniel Suarez applying the pressure to Chris Buescher. This is a battle for fourth.
Yeah, they stay right tightly together midway through. turns 13 and 14. Suarez trying to hang on to the back of that Ford.
Suarez and Buscher on the same tire strategy. They last pitted on lap 22. Suarez will dive into driver's right. That's the inside of turn number 16. He'll complete the pass before they exit the front stretch chicane. Now move Daniel Suarez up to the 4th spot here with just 4 to go in stage 2.
We'll see if Chris Buscher can fight back into turn number 1. Daniel Suarez has already put a gap on him of about 4 car lengths as this Chevrolet coming to life here late in the stage. Suarez advantage about 3 car lengths back into turn 3.
Yeah, he's been solidly in the top 5, especially throughout the duration of this stage, and he is pretty comfortable now as he starts to up turn 5, and we head to pit road in Wendy Venturini.
William Byron comes down pit road. He said, I cannot go anywhere. I'm trying. He described it as drifting and swinging. They made a wedge adjustment the last time down pit road. This time they took that wedge adjustment out of the race cars. Lap 46 for William Byron. He was running 13th.
SVG is gapping Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson running second. He's running good lap speeds and times, but he's a half a second to 0.8 of a second slower than Van Gisbergen lap over lap. Here's SVG. Will he take this opportunity to come to pit road? As they come to the line, 3 to go, he'll bypass and head back to the line.
And if Kyle Larson's going to pit, he's going to have to do it now. Pit road will close the next time by. Kyle Larson hard on the binders, and he does not go to pit road. It almost looked like he tried to and missed. Christopher Bell is going to be the first one to come down to pit road, followed by Daniel Suarez and Chris Buscher. Larson's going to have to get close enough to Van Gisbergen if he wants to pit the next time by, because pit road will close with 2 to go. Alan Cavana.
Chris Buscher had some of the oldest tires out there on the racetrack. He's done this twice now where they've been one of the last cars to pit. That should benefit them later, but they're putting 4 new ones on right now, Wendy Venturini.
Daniel Suarez comes down pit road. It's 4 tires, Sunoco fuel and air pressure adjustment. Christopher Bell was also on pit road. No comments on the balance for Christopher Bell with 4 tires and fuel. Brett McMillan.
A.J. Allmendinger in, wants a little more rear grip. He gets a 4-tire change, slight air pressure adjustment, 10.4 second stop. Alec Cavana.
19 of crate Chase Briscoe fighting nausea, but good stage there. He short pitted that stage. Should note, Bubba Wallace on pit road again for the 2nd time this stage. That's a strategy change, Wendy Venturini.
Denny Hamlin just left pit road. I noticed he had left rear bumper damage he did not previously have. We're waiting for Kyle Larson to hit pit road. Cliff Daniels just came up off the pit box and coming down here. We'll wait. The 5 of Kyle Larson.
So if Shane Van Gisbergen comes to pit road, it's still open. It'll close the next time the leader goes across the start-finish line.
He's headed to the pit road right now.
So Shane Van Gisbergen now coming to pit road. That's going to allow Kyle Larson to do the same. So with Van Gisbergen coming in, he doesn't cross the start-finish line before Larson gets there and close it. Larson will come in, and now we see a new leader coming across the front stretch chicane, Mark.
Ryan Blaney, after pitting, has now inherited the lead. And we see one car trying to smoke the tires, maybe to get into pit lane. Missed it. That was Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick could not make it. Brett McMillan, let's call Van Gisbergen.
And he is here. They're already right to the left side. He wants a little more rear grip. Finish it up to stop. It's outstanding. 9.6 second stop for that crew.
Wendy Venturini, you saw Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson just came down pit road, 4 sticker tires, no adjustments. Kyle said the car was not horrible, was a quote from Kyle Larson. No adjustments on his machine.
Not horrible, Mark. He looked like the one guy who could maybe at least keep Shane Van Gisbergen in the view of his windshield.
Yeah, he's about the only guy. Him and Bell seem to have at least enough speed, maybe, to look. If Shane looks in his rearview mirror, he might be able to see him.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 that may be in view.
All right, we've got 2 laps to go. That is going to turn over the lead to Ryan Blaney as we look around the racetrack and see the cars kind of spread out here at the end of stage 2. Varying pit strategies and a lot of different things are going to change. Ross Chastain has stayed out. He's actually going to be moved up to, it looks like, 2nd spot, 3rd spot behind Tyler Reddick now. That's going to be a huge gap as he had restarted 30th. Ross Chastain came into this race, Mark, minus 13 to the cut line. Stage points are going to be a huge shot in the arm for that team.
So Shane Van Gisbergen goes around the Busch Light Chevrolet of Ross Chastain. Chase Elliott now has passed him. Not sure if that's 4 position. It should be, so we'll see what happens.
And here is Ryan Blaney. He is leading now with 1 to go at the end of stage number 2, Nick Yeoman.
Inherited the lead when both Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Larson pitted. Once upon a time, Ryan Blaney inherited the lead for a win when Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson crashed. Right now, though, from now, Mark Janes, looks like it's going to be for a stage win. Ryan Blaney in front of you.
Take that entrance to 4 as wide as he would like, and he does. He gets it to the bottom of the racetrack and slips across that red and white curbing. Now he'll make a wide swing off of the turn. Now he'll climb on the binders a bit and head uphill toward turn number 6.
The Team Penske struggles on road courses have been noted this year as leader Ryan Blaney has a multi-second lead over second place Tyler Reddick. Blaney exits smoothly out of turn 6 and takes turn 7 very conservatively here, not needing to push that number 12 discount tire forward. It's Reddick in second. Chase Elliott has passed Shane Van Gisbergen for third, and Ross Chastain's working on SVG too.
SVG's has his hands full on this closing lap of stage number 2, but for Ryan Blaney, it's smooth sailing as he makes his way down this back straightaway, heads to the chicane for the final time.
Yeah, Blaney works his way into turn number 10, now back over to 11 and 12 as he exits back upon the 24-degree banking, my end of the racetrack. Blaney up through the gearbox here as he'll come around midway through 13 and 14 and look for that green and white checker flag.
Ryan Blaney, one more time through the front straightaway chicane. Left. Now he works to the right, and now he'll work his way back to the left. Blaney wins stage number 2 of the Bank of America Roval 400. It is his 9th stage win this season, and that ties Kyle Larson. So Blaney will win the stage. Reddick will wind up in the 2nd spot. Shane Van Gisbergen, as we're watching things, no, here is Chastain. He has worked his way past SVG. He will finish in the 3rd spot. And then as we get the rest of the finishing order, that's how far Blaney was ahead. We've got, as they cross the line, Elliott 3rd, Chastain 4th, SVG 5th, Kyle Larson 6th, 7th Christopher Bell, Joey Logano 8th, 9th Daniel Suarez, finishing 10th in stage 2, Cole Custer.
Stage 2 presented by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen. Cheddar's is the official restaurant of RCR and the number 8 car. Cheddar's serves home-style comfort food like homemade chicken pot pie, slow-smoked baby back ribs, and hand-breaded chicken tenders at prices that won't break the bank.
Here's John Felton of Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen.
We've been partnered with NASCAR for about 6 years now. We specifically are aligned with Kyle Busch, the driver of the number 8 car with Richard Childress Racing. And we've continued to expand the various ways that we can engage the NASCAR community. Radio has been very helpful for us in terms of accessing the fan base directly, helping share our story about American classics and home-style comfort food at an unbeatable price. Through relationships that we've built with the on-air personalities, we've had them host events for us. The conversations feel real. And so that's a brand and an organization that has a personality that is a good fit for our brand. So it is an authentic way to connect with the fan base while also telling our story as an organization. At the same time, we want people to be excited about NASCAR.
Thank you, John. NASCAR Network Radio drives business.
Be sure to head over to echopark.com/speedway and enter for a chance to win a Toyota Tundra plus a brand new Thor camper. Visit echopark.com/speedway now to drive off a winner. From the Roval, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
My fiance is a veteran.
I did tours in Korea, Germany, and Bosnia before I got injured.
When Yusuf got out of the military, he needed help getting his disability benefits.
Luckily, DAV came to the rescue. They fought for me the same way that I fought for my country.
Every year, DAV provides life-changing support to more than 1 million veterans.
My victory is never giving up and finding more ways to serve.
He's pretty amazing.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me for another great episode of Fast Talk. We have NASCAR Hall of Famer Kurt Busch. What does a much older, wiser Kurt Busch want to tell Carson Hocevar?
Well, let's bust out all the VHS tapes, and you can watch all my mistakes. Try not to do those, Carson. I like what he's doing. He's learning, and he's putting his time in up front.
That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
Welcome back to the Bank of America Roval 400. The end of stage number 2 has Christopher Bell now advancing. He's earned enough points to make it to the round of 8. Mark, that's something we talked about during our pre-race coverage, looking at the positions that can swap. Now, we have to wait until we see this round of pit stops and where everyone lines up before the final stage before we can give you a true points as they run. But coming into this event, Ross Chastain was minus 13 to Joey Logano. The most impressive thing for me, in one stage. Now, Chastain did not pit in the final, or in stage number 2, rather. He moved up 26 spots. He had moved up about 19 of those by flat passing other cars on the racetrack. Gained the other 7 or so by the mere fact that people had come in and short pitted before the end of the stage. But that drive in stage 2 was very impressive.
Absolutely. Again, when you make the kind of mistake he made on pit road, which was total driver error, he even said that to his team. That's on me. So a lot of times you go like, I got to dig hard. I got to make up for that one. I've got to get back in the game, and Ross Chastain has done that.
Look, when he was here winning the Coca-Cola 600, every exit of pit road meant he got on the throttle and drove onto the racetrack. Here at the Roval, you exit pit road, you don't throttle, you turn left. And he had to slam on the brakes pretty hard and just overshot it and could not make that left turn.
What's kind of funny, down at the end of pit road, you got some yellow barrels in case you shoot in there, and that protects the car. But there's one little gap there, so you almost got, is that where I go back out? Or no, that's the racetrack right there, not the pit lane that they have for the Roval. So you can understand how it happened, and he certainly wishes it didn't, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, let's see if he's made it up. So Ryan Blaney wins stage number 2. We will not have anyone sweep an entire race here on a road course today after Shane Van Gisbergen won the first stage, but impressive that Van Gisbergen still finished 5th in that stage.
So far, points earned today, Van Gisbergen with 16, Larson 14, Chastain 13, 11 for Bell and Elliott, 10 for Blaney, 9 for Reddick. Those could be important. Gibbs 8, 5 for McDowell, 4 for Briscoe.
Chastain came in minus 13 to the cut line. He's already earned 13 points. Joey Logano has not earned a single stage point. He has already made up that deficit after 2 stages. The Toyota GR Super Pace car is coming to the entrance of pit road, and our leaders will as well. Ryan Blaney will lead him in, Alan Cavana.
And I'm waiting on Ross Chastain, who had a heck of a drive, as you were talking about, made up those points. He's been fighting a loose condition on the inside part of the track. They keep fixing it and getting better. 4 tires for Ross Chastain. Chase Elliott on again. They love how that 9 car is handling. They just need some fresh, clean track, Brett McMillan.
We got Ryan Blaney coming in. We got Tyler Reddick coming in. Joey Logano's in. Tyler Reddick said he wants to be tighter. Joey Logano said he had more grip on that run, which he liked, but it fell off at the end. For Reddick, they're getting a 4-tire change, finishing up on the left side. They dropped him, sitting about 9.9 seconds. Logano also a 4-tire change, air pressure adjustment. He's gone. Wendy Venturini.
A very lengthy stop for Ty Gibbs. We're going to check to see what's wrong on the left side of their car. It was 4 tires, and he still remains on the jack on the left side. We'll follow up in just a moment.
So Chase Elliott will follow Tyler Reddick off the pit lane. Ross Chastain behind them, but need to mention that Shane Van Gisbergen, Larson, Bell, Suarez, they stayed out on the racetrack with a number of other drivers. We'll come back to Charlotte right after this.
Hey, here's the hot dogs. What did I miss?
Leader took the inside track on turn 4. Basically, pretty sweet bump and run.
Awesome. Then what?
Someone caught about a foot of air in the hairpin on turn 7. Stayed off the wall, though.
Nice. What else?
Oh, there was a slingshot that led to a lead change, almost a crash.
That it?
I think so.
Seems about right. It is only lap 3.
Celebrate the race that brings us together. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Proud sponsor of the Bank of America Roval 400. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From pads and rotors to shocks and struts, coming to a full stop should never mean your business does too. At Napa, we are the pros that know brakes and suspension better than anyone. So when others are grinding their gears, our premium parts and exceptional service deliver results. Whether you're operating a local shop or managing a national fleet, Napa has exactly what you need, when and where you need it. Get the brake and suspension parts you're looking for right now at Napa.
Who will wind up in victory lane here at the Bank of America Roval 400? We'll find out in 57 laps as we're about to get the third stage underway. Victory lane sponsored by Progressive Insurance. You can keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today. From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
It's hard to believe in this day and age in the United States of America that children are hungry.
Our time on this planet is short. We have to give back to those in need.
Every child has a chance, no matter what obstacles they may encounter.
Never have we been taxed more as a society to help kids the way we are right now.
At Speedway Children's Charities, our mission is simple. Help every child we can.
Because all children
deserve joy
and hope
and love.
I'm PRN's Doug Turnbull, co-host of the 5 to Go podcast, a weekly deep dive into 5 motorsports issues. Devin Kupka gives the Gen Z view.
One thing that I've never seen before, when the cars got 4 wide, everybody stood up cheering.
And championship-winning mechanic Dan Elliott leans on his decades in the garage and promoting.
Unless everybody is aware of the rules, then no, it's not fair for everyone.
Listen to the 5 to Go podcast on GoPRN.com and subscribe on Apple and Spotify.
Welcome back to the Roval. We're about to get in the final stage of this race as we go to the top of the box with Weather Guard Truck Boxes. Brett McMillan.
Hey, here with Stephen Doran, Shane Van Gisbergen's crew chief. This has kind of been a bizarre race that you got the final stage. We're not even halfway yet. Got 2 pit stops coming up here in the final stage.
Yeah, 2 pit stops. Yeah, it's been a wild race. A lot of tire fall off, a lot of comers and goers, different strategies. But it makes it fun. Like you said, long way to go. Hopefully we can keep this WeatherTech Chevy out front, execute our pit stops, and let him do his thing.
I know that it hasn't had many changes for you guys. You said he wanted a little more rear grip now and then, but beyond that, I think you kind of just put it in his hands, don't you?
Yeah, no real big changes today. A little bit of air pressure. Yeah, pretty calm day so far for us.
Good luck rest of the way.
Thank you.
And Stephen Doran, crew chief for Shane Van Gisbergen. Guys been pretty good so far today.
Thank you, Brett. For over half a century, pros have relied on Weather Guard to protect their gear. A Weather Guard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Weather Guard, established 1968, proven every day. Learn more at weatherguard.com.
Time now for a State Water Heater Leaderboard update brought to you by State Water Heaters. When you need a water heater, make sure you get a State. Visit statewaterheaters.com to find a professional installer near you.
We're going to restart this race with 54 laps to go. Shane Van Gisbergen leads Kyle Larson. Christopher Bell runs in third. Fourth is Daniel Suarez. Chris Buescher fifth. A.J. Allmendinger sixth. Seventh is Michael McDowell. Eighth, Ryan Preece. Justin Haley ninth. 10th is William Byron.
Brad Keselowski 11th. Chase Briscoe 12th. 13th, Bubba Wallace. 14th, Denny Hamlin. 15th is Alex Bowman. 16th, Josh Berry. Noah Gragson 17th. 18th, Zane Smith. Austin Dillon 19th. 20th, Tyler Reddick.
Reddick was the first one to pit during the stage break, so he'll be followed in 21st by Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain in 22nd, 23rd, Joey Logano, Cole Custer 24th, Ryan Blaney 25th, 26th, Ty Dillon, Eric Jones 27th, 28th, Riley Herbst, Todd Gilliland 29th, John Hunter Nemechek in 30th.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 31st, 32nd, Cody Ware, Josh Bilicki 33rd, 34th, Carson Hocevar, Ty Gibbs now being scored 35th. -9 laps after a problem on the opening lap, Kyle Busch. Austin Cindric is off the track, being scored in 37th.
Looking at the points as they run now, heading into the final stage as all stage points have been played. Chase Elliott advances with the win at Kansas. Ryan Blaney, his win at New Hampshire. Kyle Larson advances on points alone. He's already locked into the round of 8, as is Christopher Bell. Plus 43 above the cut line, and fifth is Denny Hamlin. Plus 41 is William Byron. Plus 22 is Chase Briscoe. And now just plus 2 points, Joey Logano.
He is 2 up on Ross Chastain, -19, both Bubba Wallace and his 2311 racing teammate Tyler Reddick. And of course, Austin Cindric now is out of the game and is going to miss the round of 8. But as it looks like, as it has from the beginning of the race, it looks like that final spot's going to come down to Logano and, of course, Ross Chastain. Right now, let's go down to Wendy Venturini.
So Todd Gibbs spent a lot of time on pit road. They were working on the left front side of the car. He got into Cody Ware at some point on the roval and knocked the toe out. Now, it didn't break a toe link, but something with the camber was issue that they brought him back down. They were using the rubber mallet on the inside of the left front fender. It had something to do with the camber. Now, I'm looking at the 4 tires that just came off. They are pretty badly corded, so we know there was a toe or camber issue with the 54. He said it feels better. So Ty Gibbs with a little lengthy issue that they had to fix here on pit road.
Thank you very much, Wendy. All right, Mark, so I don't understand the math here a little bit. Ross Chastain came in at minus 13. He scored 13 stage points today. Joey Logano hasn't scored any, runs 1 spot behind Ross Chastain, yet Chastain is still minus 2.
There's no explanation. We just wait for the leaderboard update.
There you go. That's why we talk for a living.
Yeah. Sometimes that little electronic box in front of us doesn't tell us everything, but it looks like we're going to choose. NASCAR starter Brett Dalton has given the 1 lap to go signal, and we will go back racing with 54 laps to go. It'll be the 3rd final stage for the Bank of America Roval 400.
Miraculously, we have yet to have a caution for cause. Just 2 yellow flags today, the end of stage 1 and the end of stage 2.
The way this race has gone, Van Gisbergen now out front, has the track position, will probably pit twice in this last segment. They have the tires. They'll have plenty of Sunoco fuel. If this thing goes green, it plays right into the hands of SVG.
And we're back to somewhat of a traditional road course pit strategy here, where we saw some teams pit with 2 to 3 to go. We saw some teams pit at the end of the stage. No one has a major tire advantage, but the tire deficit for Van Gisbergen over Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, who are back in 20th, 21st, 22nd, is only 4 laps, and a few of those were under caution.
So pace car driver Jesse Dolivud about to take that Toyota GR Supra pace car to pit lane. The car's about to enter the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Every car, happy owner, Echo Park Automotive.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the control car, driver's right of Kyle Larson. It is going to be a right-hand corner into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. That's turn 16. Now the left-hander of turn number 17 and back to the start-finish line. Shane Van Gisbergen has cleared Kyle Larson, but Daniel Suarez may take him 3 wide.
Boy, Kyle Larson went really low to try to protect that inside line. He's going to lose the 2nd spot as Christopher Bell roars around the outside. Shane Van Gisbergen leads the field into turn number 3.
Christopher Bell has been navigating traffic all afternoon, and he has done so beautifully. A hard charge for Buscher to the bottom of Kyle Larson. Plenty of contact as he gets a big shot from Daniel Suarez. The front 2 already exiting turn number 5.
A.J. Allmendinger's put the sheet metal shove to Chris Buscher in the 3rd spot there. Got him out of shape. Battle for the lead down the hill at turn 6. Christopher Bell has stayed in the same zip code as Shane Van Gisbergen. They're hard on the brakes here to turn 7. Will there be contact as the field bunches up in accordions? And there's tire smoke from Joey Logano, one of our playoff contenders in the back, but they stay straight.
The winner from 2022 now dogging Shane Van Gisbergen. Talking about Christopher Bell. What a great restart for C-Bell as he makes his way out of turn number 9. May take a look for the lead.
Gonna try to outbrake Shane Van Gisbergen into turn 10. Can't get it done. Goes in his tire tracks. Bell applies all the pressure he can to Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen, though, now back up through the gearbox. Turn number 13. He's got him by about 2 car lengths now, headed back to the front.
The only other driver to win a road course race this year is Christopher Bell. He is dogged, determined to try to take over the top spot. He now wrestles with SVG out of turn number 17 across the stripe. Larson losing ground in 3rd.
Christopher Bell has a Roval win to his name as well. Got it done 3 years ago. He's got to find about a half a car length to get around Shane Van Gisbergen. They go nose to tail for the sweeping left-hander of turn number 2. Shane Van Gisbergen planted right in the middle of the racetrack, smoked the tires a little bit in 3.
My attention drawn to 4th place running A.J. Allmendinger, who was wearing out the rear bumper on that number 5 machine of Kyle Larson. Larson gets a pretty good launch off of turn number 4, though, as the leaders crest the hill into 5.
And down that hill, Shane Van Gisbergen gaps second place Bell by a car length there as the top 6 or 7 are single file. 2-wide battle for about the 8th spot as Justin Haley and Ryan Priest, who make contact going into turn 7. Need to note that Ross Chastain has gained some spots in this restart while Joey Logano's fallen back.
Great run for Christopher Bell out of turn number 8. He's got it down to a car length on Shane Van Gisbergen. They'll make their way out of turn number 9. He'll try it again as they make their way down to the chicane in turn 10.
Here goes Bell one more time trying to pressure. He'll get inside Van Gisbergen. They almost got side by side. Van Gisbergen goes wide, driver's left, holds on to the spot. Bell is there. Larson is there. Bell dogs him hard. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack. See Bell gets into the back of Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen chases it up the racetrack. Door to door into 15.
Side by side for the lead as they hit the front stretch chicane. Give the advantage still to Shane Van Gisbergen on the right-hander. He once again clears Christopher Bell. The aggressor now is Kyle Larson, right on the back bumper of the 20 as they head to 1.
How do you beat the best road racer in NASCAR? Maybe rough him up a little bit. Christopher Bell has certainly got the elbows wide. It's still Shane Van Gisbergen, Bell, Larson, Allmendinger, the top 4 back into turn 3.
Front 2 had some distance until they went into that backstretch chicane, and that is where Bell had to brake a little later, and that opened the door for Kyle Larson coming in, close things up. A.J. Allmendinger is out. Busher is there. The top 5 separated by just a handful of car lengths as they set up for turn 6.
And all 3 laps of this restart, Chris Busher and 4th place A.J. Allmendinger been all over each other. In fact, Busher smokes his tires in the 5th spot at turn 6. Now they downshift into turn 7. Daniel Suarez dive bombs under Michael McDowell for about the 7th spot. Shane Van Gisbergen remains in the lead.
The DeWalt Toyota has the mirrors of Shane Van Gisbergen full. It's a car length advantage for Shane Van Gisbergen. He'll try it again. Here comes Christopher Bell. Got it down to a half car length to look to the inside.
Caution on the speedway now. This is our 3rd caution, the first one for cause with 52 laps to go in the Bank of America Roval 400. Austin Dillon has gone off course. Heavy damage to his race car here in the Bank of America Roval 400.
Hey, this is Michael Walter for Echo Park Automotive, and I'm here to tell you why you should shop Echo Park before you buy a car, truck, or SUV. Over half the inventory at Echo Park is priced below $25,000. And car for car, truck for truck, Echo Park Automotive's pricing is $3,000 less than the competition. Maybe that's why Echo Park has over 100,000 5-star reviews. Echo Park Automotive is built to make sure everyone drives away happy. It's even in their name, Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. The official used car dealer of Speedway Motorsports.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
Doug Turnbull, that incident happened in front of you. What do things look like?
For sure, yeah. Well, it looks like there may be some repairs that need to be done to the tire barrier there in turn number 5. There's a long black streak along that there. 2 AMR safety trucks and 4 or 5 workers are standing out next to it. There's also a crane nearby. We'll see if they have to reposition the tires or if they're just checking it to make sure it is in the right way or consistent for what they need it to be. But our first caution of cause today, and of course it's in the tire barriers in the infield.
Austin Dillon went into that tire barrier and went into it very hard.
Yeah, that was a tough one. We'll come back to the Roval, see if anyone's going to take this opportunity to come to pit road. We have 51 laps to go, just past the halfway point of the Bank of America Roval 400. From Charlotte, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Brett McMillan. Join me each week for the True Reporters Roundtable, known as the Pit Reporters.
This is not what we're used to and accustomed to seeing. That, I think, with a backdrop, is why a lot of fans are a bit sour on Denny.
He still wants to play that role that now Denny has taken on, but him and the A-car haven't had the same success. You can't be the villain, and it doesn't really work as well if you're not winning, and Denny Hamlin is doing just that.
Check us out each week on the Performance Racing Network.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 Americans are sick of the divisions in our country? But there's one small step we can take to remember that we're still connected. All over America, strangers with different political views are coming together to talk about their lives, not politics, and discovering they actually have a lot in common. Because even if we don't see eye to eye, we can still talk heart to heart. So let's talk for a change. Learn more at takeonesmallstep.org. So let's talk for a change. Learn more at takeonesmallstep.org.
Will we have takers on pit road? Van Gisbergen bypasses the pit lane. So does Larson, Allmendinger, Buscher, McDowell. But coming onto the pit lane, Bubba Wallace is going to make a stop, and so will William Byron. Just about everybody else stayed out. Let's go to Alan Cavana.
Oh, the longer this race goes, the more Hail Mary the situation gets for Bubba Wallace and crew. They were one of the longest pitters. Now it seems like they're one of the shortest on strategy, so they are in to put 4 fresh ones on, Wendy Venturini.
William Byron really has been struggling, according to him, in this race. He's struggling in the rear, struggling to brake. So he came down pit road with an adjustment, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel. Guys?
Thank you very much. All right, so coming onto pit road, Shane Van Gisbergen stayed low, like he might go, but not low enough. Christopher Bell ducked lower to try and draw him onto pit road.
Exactly. He was trying to suck him into going down there. Hey, I'm going. You better come with me. And SVG didn't fall for it.
I think it's hard to dictate someone else's strategy when that someone else has won the last 4 consecutive road course races.
I thought a yellow flag would kind of mix things up in the 3rd stage, but this yellow came very early. Another 5 laps down the road, 10 laps down the road, things might have been a little more interesting on that.
Mark, Doug Turnbull mentioned this while we were still under green. Joey Logano lost a couple of spots on that last restart, the opening laps of our final stage here. Ross Chastain went the other way. He actually gained spots. In fact, he restarted 21st, is now up to 13th, and as they run, 5 points above the cut line over Joey Logano.
Logano, I think, is in trouble. He has struggled all afternoon long. And remember, a year ago, he did not run well enough to qualify for the round of 8 here at the Roval, but got in when the NASCAR DQ'd Alex Bowman after the race was over.
Alex Bowman's car just slightly, ever so slightly, underweight in this race last year, and that was a really tough thing for them. And let's go down to Brett McMillan.
One thing Joey Logano has said on the radio since that restart is he said he needs to turn on the inside corners better, so you can tell the car has just been, as you guys noted, not been handling well all night long to his liking, and it continues to be like that.
Thank you very much for that, Brett McMillan. And Logano actually came into this race as one of the top point getters in the next-gen car here at the Roval, in the Bank of America Roval 400. But again, it is a tough thing, and Chastain, he's a road race winner himself. Trackhouse right now has the race leader in Shane Van Gisbergen, Daniel Suarez running 7th, and Chastain driving up through the field, currently running in 13th.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Make your plans now to stay at the South Point Hotel Casino and Spa when NASCAR returns to Las Vegas. They have great race ticket and room packages for you to choose from. The South Point also features a wide variety of excellent dining options at 11 different restaurants. Or you can enjoy the 16-screen movie complex and visit the 64-lane bowling center. Visit SouthPointCasino.com and make your reservations today. Stay where the racers stay at the South Point Hotel Casino and Spa.
Under caution for the 3rd time today with 49 laps to go from the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Whether it's skating around the racetrack on a set of rollerblades or turning laps in a Legends car, join JC Fickenshire on JC's Garage.
All it takes is one win, and that one win can completely clear the driver's mind. I could even see it happening if Todd Gilliland wins a race or Noah Gragson wins a race, Zane Smith wins a race. These guys are guys who are just searching for one win, one chance.
JC's Garage, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Hey, it's Charlie and Debbie, along with NASCAR legend Kyle Petty, inviting you to join us for Kyle Petty's Back Then Again Country Countdown.
Each week, we'll put it in reverse and take a trip down memory lane, looking back at that week's top 20 country songs from years past.
We'll dive into what made those songs and artists move the needle, what pop culture trends made those years unique.
And you'll get to hear me tell stories only I can tell.
So don't miss Kyle Petty's Back Then Again Country Countdown right here each week.
Welcome back to the Bank of America Roval 400. We will restart with 48 laps to go. Let's give you Bass Pro Shops leaderboard. Bass Pro Shops voted America's best outdoor retailer. Your adventure starts here.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the leader. C. Bell is currently second. Kyle Larson third. Fourth, A.J. Allmendinger. Chris Buescher fifth. Sixth, Michael McDowell. Seventh, Daniel Suarez. Eighth, Ryan Priest. Justin Haley ninth. And 10th, Chase Briscoe.
11th is Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin 12th, 13th Ross Chastain, 14th is Noah Gragson, Alex Bowman 15th, Chase Elliott 16th, 17th Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick 18th, 19th Zane Smith, 20th is Ryan Blaney.
21st is going to be Ty Dillon. The rest of our top 25, Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ty Gibbs, Eric Jones.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Toyota GR Supra pace car is leading the field. It will make that hard left turn onto pit road, and we will restart with 48 laps to go. The next time they go through the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Echo Park Automotive, every car, happy owner. Shane Van Gisbergen, driver's right of Christopher Bell. He's the control car. They're going to make the right-hand turn in turn 16. They'll go through the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. The green flag will come back out. Christopher Bell will try and hang to the left rear quarter panel of Van Gisbergen. He's not able to cut him off.
Boy, Kyle Larson even took a look to the outside, thinking about making it 3 wide. Shane Van Gisbergen moved right to seal off the top spot, and he'll lead those 2 short track stars into turn number 3. Larson and Bell dueling for second place.
Inches out by a car length or 2 at the point. Meanwhile, Bell is literally shoving Larson through turn number 4. A.J. Allmendinger in a pretty good drag race as he sets up for turn number 5.
And Allmendinger in that 4th position, battling with Chris Buescher as they have all stage long. They get in line through turn 6 and make that blind right-hander. The top 12 or so are single file, but now it's a scrub into turn 7. Larson puts contact to Shane Van Gisbergen. Allmendinger misses the turn and goes 3 wide with McDowell and Buescher.
And Allmendinger will be able to recover. He's back up through the gearbox, but your leader, Shane Van Gisbergen, about a 2-car length advantage over Kyle Larson, the aggressor now. Christopher Bell, he's going to try to take over that second position.
So here's the leader, SVG, into turn number 10. Larson right on his tire tracks. Makes the exit out of turn number 12 there. Right behind Larson is Christopher Bell. That's the first 3. Then there's a little bit of a gap between them and A.J. Allmendinger. Here's the leader back through 14.
Denny Hamlin just got used up in the back straightaway chicane, but he's back in line. Van Gisbergen through the front stretch chicane. Left, right, left, across the line. 47 laps to go. Kyle Larson remains right there on his back bumper.
Kyle Larson is there. In fact, he'll take a peek to the inside. Shane Van Gisbergen seals off that inside line, but boy, that was a risky attempt for Larson. He'll continue to hound Shane Van Gisbergen as they streak their way into the right-hander.
Hound he does. He's right up underneath that car as he's set up for turn number 4. He breaks a little bit later, climbs back into the throttle quicker, but Van Gisbergen's able to pull away. Christopher Bell trying to keep pace, then A.J. Allmendinger as they work their way up in turn number 5.
Let's remember, we've learned today that as Shane Van Gisbergen, as he dives into turn 6 and turns right, he fires off a little slower and saves those tires. As Larson's going to charge harder, look under him there, but he's going to brake so hard that he won't get the drive off the corner. They get side by side, but SVG pulls him into turn 8.
And Kyle Larson will have a little bit of momentum as he exits turn number 8. They're still side by side as they make their way through turn number 9. It looks like Larson will lose that advantage. Now gain it again. They're side by side as they make their way to the chicane.
Looks like a drag race at Pomona into turn number 10. Van Gisbergen to the outside. Inside, here comes Larson. Larson gets the better of SVG. Now Bell works to the outside of Shane Van Gisbergen. New leader midway through 13 and 14. It's Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson, the defending winner, will lead the Bank of America Roval 400, but now second is up for grabs. Christopher Bell has the inside line. He will take that spot away from Shane Van Gisbergen, drop Van Gisbergen down to third. Now A.J. Allmendinger under fire behind Van Gisbergen with Chris Buescher.
First time all day that Shane Van Gisbergen has been passed on the racetrack. Kyle Larson leads the pack through turn number 2. About a 3-car length advantage over Bell. Then it's SVG trying to hold off A.J. Allmendinger, who's looking left and right.
Christopher Bell loaded up the lunch pail. He has put in the work today, been in traffic all day, and as we said, handled it beautifully. Firm grasp on that second position. A.J. Allmendinger's got his mirror full of Buescher now as they exit turn number 5.
They continue to battle as Allmendinger looks at Shane Van Gisbergen in the third spot. Wonder if Van Gisbergen cooling those tires down as Larson goes through turn 6 with a 1-car length lead. By the way, Ross Chastain running 12th. Joey Logano, though, driven up to 15th there as that battle for the final playoff spot is on.
The Kiwis caged a tad bit rattled as A.J. Allmendinger swings way wide. He will have now a battle between he and the 5th place running machine as we go back up front. Kyle Larson with a 4-car length advantage over Christopher Bell. That battle for the 4th position, Chris Buescher and A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah, Buescher's got the drivers right on the inside. He's going to make the position. They get into each other ever so slightly. AJ's got the spot, really slowed up there trying to kick it out of turn 13 up onto the banking. That's where they go. Larson, meanwhile, up in front by about 4 car lengths.
Business is picking up for the lead machines. They're running a pace much quicker than at any time during the day. You can tell they're trying to fight their way now to the checkered flag. Larson, Bell, SVG, then 4 car lengths back to A.J. Allmendinger. Now here's Chris Buescher banging fenders with Michael McDowell in turn 1.
Yep, Buescher just lost another spot, so moved Michael McDowell into the 5th position. Buescher's car gets a little sideways through turn number 2. That's going to give an opportunity for Daniel Suarez to close in as they all streak through turn 3.
Michael McDowell, a top 10 starter, kind of faded from contention in that early stage, but now he's right back in the top 10 as he has a firm grasp on that 5th position now with the exit of turn 5.
And that is the best battle inside the top 10. Michael McDowell made a great move in the front stretch chicane around Chris Buescher. Now, who has never finished in the top 10, McDowell moves through turn 6, down the hill, through the gearbox. Is going to try to look under Allmendinger. Buescher right up to McDowell's rear bumper, but they all stay in position as they pull through the gears and hit the gas into turn 8.
We'll keep our eye on Michael McDowell in that 5th position. He's about 2 car lengths behind 4th place running A.J. Allmendinger. Has a nice run out of turn number 9. Kyle Larson with a good advantage, but we'll peek back in on that battle for the 4th position. Still 2 car length advantage for A.J. Allmendinger.
A little bit further back, also good racing going on there. Daniel Suarez working the best as he can to get around Ryan Priest. Can't get anything done that time. Meanwhile, back up front, Larson with a comfortable 6-car lead.
This time by, it'll be 44 laps to go here in the Bank of America Roval 400. Kyle Larson, the defending winner, leads Christopher Bell. Shane Van Gisbergen runs in 3rd. Then it's A.J. Allmendinger, Michael McDowell, your top 5.
Fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR. From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
In addition to traditional summer camp, Victory Junction also hosts family weekends, partner programs, and day camps. And the Victory Junction Outreach Program takes camp fun beyond our gates to children at hospitals and partner sites throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Victory Junction makes the impossible accessible.
This is a place that needs to be here 50 years from now, 100 years from now. We are never going to run out of kids that can benefit from Victory Junction.
Discover how you can get involved at victoryjunction.org.
From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is PRN.
It's a drag race for the race lead. We're racing here in Las Vegas.
The NASCAR Cup Series heads to Vegas.
Bowman on the inside, Austin Cindric on the outside. He'll cut the nose on Alex Bowman, right on his back bumper as they head into one.
Wow, he comes off two like shot out of a cannon. He goes right around Cindric. Now he'll go after Logano.
It is Chevy versus Toyota. Toyota on the inside with Bubba Wallace. He cuts down to the apron.
A South Point 400, Sunday, October 12th at 4:30 Eastern on PRN. Saturday, October 11th. The NASCAR Xfinity Series heads to Vegas.
Jesse Love goes and cuts down in front of Josh Williams. There's Austin Hill, cannot get the outside line going.
Now he drives up beside Jesse Love. Sam Mayer is going to lead that lap as the pack heads back to one.
Ryan Sieg moving all over the racetrack, upside, downside.
It's the Focus Tel 302, Saturday, October 11th at 7 Eastern on PRN. It's the Focus Tel 302, Saturday, October 11th at 7 Eastern on PRN.
Welcome back to the Roval here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 43 laps to go. Kyle Larson pulling away from Christopher Bell, who's pulling away from Shane Van Gisbergen. Behind them, however, a little battle heading into the chicane. Pat Patterson with Allmendinger and Buescher.
Yeah, Buescher's doing a good job hanging with AJ. AJ right out in front. They are just glued together as they work through the chicane, now up onto the banking. The two of them go at it and stay at it here in 13 and 14.
It's going to be 42 laps to go this time by as Kyle Larson leads Christopher Bell. Shane Van Gisbergen, Chris Buescher decides to peel off the racetrack. The last time he was on pit road, lap 47. Well, that's this lap, Alan Cavana.
And he's just driven by Michael McDowell and into the top five and running well all day. So they're going around to the right side, trying to take advantage of these fresh tires around to the left side, looking clean, looking like a nice stop for the 17 car of Chris Buescher, a road course ace in this next gen car.
And more cars coming onto pit road. We see Zane Smith out there on the pit lane, and it looks like it's opening for some strategy here. All of these happening on lap 67. So for Buescher, he actually had 20 laps on those tires as he goes down. Let's give you a Coca-Cola Racing family update. Currently, Austin Dillon runs in 33rd. He was a part of our last caution. Chase Elliott, 14th. 15th is Denny Hamlin. Joey Logano runs 16th. Daniel Suarez, one of the top drivers fighting for a win here today. He is running 8th. Speaking of best ever, perhaps it's similar to what makes you the best fan ever. Coke Zero Sugar leaves everything out there on race day. Coke Zero Sugar, 0 calories, and always bringing that irresistible taste that keeps you coming back for more. It's the best Coke ever. Take a taste. Battle on the racetrack. Let's pick up the leaders, Pat.
Yeah, right through turns 10, 11, and 12. Larson out in front by about, 10, 12 car lengths over the second place. Christopher Bell, SVG kind of closing back in on the top two.
And let's see if anyone else comes down pit road. It won't happen for the first three of Larson, Bell, and Shane Van Gisbergen. AJ Allmendinger stays out there. One of the drivers really on the move in this stage, currently running in 5th. Ryan Preece takes that RFK number 60 with the Kroger Totino sponsorship, puts it on the back bumper. He dives to the inside of Allmendinger into one.
That was a nice pass. That pizza roll wagon looking pretty good for Ryan Preece. Got to the inside of A.J. Allmendinger, and that black and red Ford is now charged to the 4th position. Allmendinger kicked back to 5th, back into turn 3.
Yeah, Ryan Preece, kind of a late comer to the proceedings. He has about a 3-car length advantage now. It shrinks down to a car length over A.J. Allmendinger as they clear turn number 4. Michael McDowell trying to keep pace with that Dewsum now as they work their way up in turn number 5.
McDowell lost a few spots after charging hard at the beginning of this stage there. This battle with Preece, Allmendinger, and McDowell's in turn 6 as the leaders Larson, Bell, and Van Gisbergen are several seconds ahead exiting in turn 7 and 8.
Ryan Preece doing a great job in this opening part of stage number 3. He started in that 8th position, worked his way to 4th, and now A.J. Allmendinger may have some issues with Michael McDowell. He may lose this position for the 5th position as Michael McDowell will look to the inside. A.J. Allmendinger will have him side by side.
And that's where they're going to race down in here into turn 10 to make that left-hand corner. McDowell will take the spot away from A.J. A.J. will stay glued to his bumper, tries to work him back in the middle of the chicane. He can't do anything with it. Now exits the corner, climbs the banking in 13 and 14.
This is a battle about 4 seconds behind the lead trio. McDowell now moves up into the, 5th spot. And McDowell at Chicago, he took it to SVG, but had a mechanical issue, took him out of the race.
Took him out of the race. A.J. Allmendinger, Brad Keselowski come down to pit road. Alex Bowman on pit road. Seeing some drivers swap positions right now. The cut line has Ross Chastain at -2 to Joey Logano. Brett McMillan.
And A.J. Allmendinger in. He said the car just been getting a little too tight. They're going to try to loosen it up some with an air pressure adjustment. And a 4-tire change. They're around to the left side. Finish up there. A 10.4-second stop for A.J. Allmendinger as he heads back out right in front of Brad Keselowski.
40 laps to go here in the Bank of America Roval 400. Kyle Larson, a two-time and defending winner of this race. He is being chased by Christopher Bell, who won this race the first year that we had the next-gen car. Bell was able to do it and advance into the next round. That was a win from behind the cut line for him, Mark.
No doubt that Bell has turned up the wick, so has Larson. And right now, what does Shane Van Gisbergen have? Is he waiting behind these guys? Is he saving? Is he running all out? We don't know. We haven't seen this all day where cars have been able to go up and take it to him, which Larson and Bell did.
I think right now he might be trying to close that gap maybe before their next set of pit stops here. Kyle Larson enjoys a 1.3-second advantage. Then it's 2 seconds behind to Shane Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen, however, he's driven to the back bumper of Christopher Bell. They hit the front straightaway, less than a car length the difference as they head back to one.
Yeah, every time Christopher Bell pulls a gap, it snaps back like a rubber band because Shane Van Gisbergen is right there in the slower portions of the racetrack. Through the technical left-hander of turn number 2, SVG all over the back of Christopher Bell. They look like one car, Mark James, through turn 3.
Van Gisbergen really launched out of that chicane. We'll keep an eye on that battle as we head to the pits at Allen.
Chase Briscoe battling handling issues, battling nausea inside the car, but still having a good run on and off. A clean pit stop, 4 fresh tires, Wendy.
On my end of pit road, Ty Gibbs comes to a stop. Keep in mind he came down pit road to fix a toe issue in the left front area of the car underneath that left front tire. It's 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for Ty Gibbs.
All right, let's go to Doug Turnbull.
Shane Van Gisbergen just pulled the move, hard on the brakes, and under Christopher Bell for that second position in turn 7. And Michael Young, they're coming to you in turn 9. They were the 1 car length gap.
Boy, Doug, he made that look easy. Now about a car length advantage for Shane Van Gisbergen. He's in that second position. Christopher Bell in third.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, though, before Shane Van Gisbergen can catch the leader, which is Kyle Larson. Larson up there on the banking in turn number 13 now. Works the bottom of the racetrack in 13 and 14. Van Gisbergen giving chase.
As they come back to the start-finish line, 38 laps to go in the Bank of America Roval 400. Bell now will hit the pit lane as Larson comes across the stripe. Will now document the gap between him and Shane Van Gisbergen. That gap at this point is going to be 2.3 seconds as we go to Wendy Venturini.
Christopher Bell in at lap 71. A solid stop thus far as they make it around to the left side, adding that can of fuel as well. No adjustments for Christopher Bell. Brett McMillan.
Tyler Reddick is on his way down pit road. He's been happy with the car during this run. Came into today's race way behind the cut line. He's picked up some points, but he's done a long way to go to stay in this playoff picture. He comes to a stop in the pit stall. They'll make no adjustments at all. At least that's the plan. They finished up on the right side. Yep, no wrenches, no air pressure adjustments. They're finishing up on the left side. They filled them up with Sunoco fuel, a 9.3-second stop.
These stops happening with 38 laps to go. Let's pick up the leaders, Michael Young.
Indeed, Kyle Larson about a 15 car length advantage over Shane Van Gisbergen. A couple of Chevrolets lead the field down. Kyle Larson already to the chicane.
Larson smoothly through 10, 11 now, makes that right-hand turn, climbs the banking again, coming up onto the 24-degree banking, my end of the racetrack, which is down at the very bottom of the racetrack is where he stays. Kyle Larson stays in the gas again. Now will decide to take it to the pit road. Here comes Larson.
Shane Van Gisbergen, though, will stay out. This is going to be the 5th time today he has led the Bank of America Roval 400. Larson bringing the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet into the view of Wendy Venturini.
Kyle Larson has told us over the radio he felt like Shane Van Gisbergen had more turn than him. Kyle Larson has been very fast, making very little adjustments on the turnability of this race car. 4 tires fuel, a solid stop, and the guys know it.
All right, so Shane Van Gisbergen last pitted on lap 48. Kyle Larson just now pitted on lap 72. Let's see when Shane Van Gisbergen stays out. He and Chase Elliott, who are now running in second. Elliott pitted on lap 52. Ross Chastain's still out. He pitted on lap 52 as well, Mark.
Again, no telling how this pit strategy is going to turn out until the very end, when you think everybody now is taking on tires and fuel, and then we'll really get a clear picture. Let's go down to Brett McMillan.
Ryan Blaney knows he's set into the next round. He's got a 4-tire change. Car's been feeling pretty good, just a little bit tight, and he heads back out.
All right, thank you very much, Brett McMillan. So we're hearing this time by Shane Van Gisbergen's going to come down pit road. He's on the track all by himself right now, Mark, heading into the backstretch chicane. And one thing we do know, he is much better than the rest of the field at managing not just his tires, but quite honestly, the whole race car in a longer run.
And it seems when you look at his lap speeds, when he's one lap away from coming on a pit lane, he really pushes hard. Here's Van Gisbergen now, slamming on the brakes, coming on to pit road. He is going to pit for maybe his next to last time. Here he is, down to pit road speed, and he is heading towards Brett McMillan.
And to your point, Mark, Stephen Doran told us they expect to pit twice during this final stage. This crew has been money all day long, and that's a great combination when you got a guy as good behind the wheel on road courses as Shane Van Gisbergen has been. He still wants more rear grip. That's what he said he's lacking. They've already finished on the right side. They're around to the left side. Left side tires on. Again, money, 9.2 seconds. Alan Cabana. Ross Chastain follows Joey Logano into the pits. The two battling for the points right now. Ross Chastain, clean pit stop, 4 tires on and off pit road, Brett. Alan, we got Joey Logano in. He says that the car has been just too tight. They're going to give an air pressure adjustment. They're around to the left side of the car. Maybe a hair slow on the right. They drop the left side of the car. He goes back out, and it's a 12.3-second stop.
All right, so Ross Chastain was able to beat Joey Logano well off. And now we've got a battle for the lead, Doug Turnbull.
That's right. Kyle Larson on his fresh tires has passed Chase Elliott, who has not pitted yet. They've just exited turn 7, so moved Young Money back to the lead, and he is several seconds ahead of SVG, who had just pitted, and Christopher Bell.
It tells you how important fresh tires are here at the Roval. Kyle Larson already 8 car lengths over Chase Elliott as they make their way to the chicane.
Yeah, Larson works his way to the left-hand side of 10, back to the right in 11. Now exits 12. Up onto the banking here, the 24-degree banking, the north side of the racetrack. Larson out at the bottom of the racetrack, just basically at this point way out in front of Chase Elliott.
As Larson comes to the stripe, he has now led this race on 2 occasions. We'll take a break with 35 laps to go here at Charlotte.
Here's Paul Doschel of Toyota.
We have a kind of robust program around NASCAR, and we feel that if we're going to be there and compete against Chevrolet and Ford, that we want to be able to tell that story, and so we feel that a 360-degree approach is the best for that. Radio fills a much-needed void in our marketing program. Being able to have our commercial spots and the relationship that we have with PRN, where they talk about our vehicles as Camrys and Supras.
The Toyota GR Supra makes that hard left turn onto pit road.
As pace cars, the Toyota Camry pace car, or the GR Supra pace car adds a nice touch to broadcast rather than when it's just the pace cars coming out of turn 4. So for us, it's really the coming together of the 360-degree approach to really make our program all-inclusive.
NASCAR Network Radio drives business.
35 to go in the Bank of America Roval 400. Kyle Larson continues to lead. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Get your NASCAR fix with PRN's Garage Pass.
It's hard to just turn it around in 1 week, but I wouldn't be shocked if we did.
I don't think the results have been what we have hoped for or expected, but I think the potential in the cars and the speed has been pretty good.
It's a big deal already, so that's a big positive for us. So I think now it's just about working together and getting better.
I think the Penske cars are still elite when it comes to plate racing.
Hi, I'm Mark Garrow, tracking the latest racing news every weekday.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right
that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know
what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back to the Bank of America Roval 400 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Alongside Mark Garrow, my name is Brad Gilley. And now let's give you a Hunt Brothers Pizza leaderboard update brought to you by Hunt Brothers Pizza, where we love racing and we love pizza. Find your next pizza at huntbrotherspizza.com or download the Hunt Brothers Pizza app.
Kyle Larson, the leader, by 4.5 seconds over Christopher Bell, 6.1 over Shane Van Gisbergen. Chris Buescher fourth, fifth William Byron. Josh Berry hasn't pitted. He is now sixth. Seventh, A.J. Allmendinger. Eighth, Brad Keselowski. Ryan Preece ninth. 10th is Chase Briscoe.
Alex Bowman runs 11th, followed by Micah McDowell in 12th. 13th is Daniel Suarez. 14th, Justin Haley. Tyler Reddick 15th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 16th. Ross Chastain is in 17th. 18th, Chase Elliott. 19th, Zane Smith. Ty Gibbs runs 20th.
John Hunter Nemechek 21st. Joey Logano 22nd. Bubba Wallace 23rd. Ryan Blaney 24th. 25th, Riley Herbst. Noah Gragson 26th. Denny Hamlin 27th. Ty Dillon 28th. 29th, Cole Custer. Todd Gilliland in 30th.
Josh Bilicki 31st. 32nd is Cody Ware. Austin Dillon runs in 33rd. 34th is Eric Jones. 35th, Carson Hocevar. Kyle Busch is minus 8 laps. He had a wreck on stage 1. He runs 36. Austin Cindric minus 21 laps. Carson Hocevar took him out on the front stretch chicane. They had to go behind the wall for repairs. He runs 37th. Taking a look at the point snapshot mark, right now Ross Chastain. He scored 13 stage points today, made up ground on Joey Logano. Currently as they run, +2 to Joey Logano, who is -2. Logano actually had a slow pit stop on that last cycle, had problems getting the right front off.
I tell you what, it has been seemingly all race long, it has been aiming towards the direction of that last playoff spot in the round of 8, going to either Joey Logano or Ross Chastain. It still hangs in the balance with 33 laps to go.
Managing the lead, Kyle Larson the last time by 4 seconds over Christopher Bell, 5.4 seconds over Shane Van Gisbergen. Now with 32 to go, still a 4-second lead over Bell. He's stretched it out a little, but Van Gisbergen starting to slowly whittle his way in, 5 seconds back.
0.3 of a second quicker that lap, 0.5 the lap before, so he has turned up the wick just a bit, but Larson still with a big lead in front of Mark James.
And he does have a big lead, Mark Garrow. He's already setting up for turn number 5 as second and third place work their way off of fourth. No question, Shane Van Gisbergen is starting to draw a bead on Christopher Bell as they climb the hill.
And that is something that Kyle Larson doesn't want to see. There is Shane Van Gisbergen in third, trails Bell by 2 car lengths. They leave turn 6 as Larson makes the almost barely moving move out of turn 7. Such a slow elbow corner there. Chris Buescher maintains the 4th position with A.J. Allmendinger being hunted down by Brad Keselowski for 5th. I'm going to stay with that, Michael Young, because Keselowski tries to dive bomb turn 7, but he stays behind Allmendinger as he pulls him off into turn 8.
Brad Keselowski's been doing a great job trying to make his way through this field, but back up front, to the eye at least, it looks like Kyle Larson's lead is shrinking, and Christopher Bell now has his mirrors full of Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen is going to have to make quick work of Christopher Bell wherever it is that he can make the pass. Right now, he's got a good 15-car length disadvantage to the 20 car of C. Bell.
That is a battle for the second spot. Kyle Larson comes out of the front stretch chicane. He'll lead this race. It'll now be 31 to go. His gap the last time, 4 seconds over Christopher Bell. This time by 3.5 seconds over Bell, 4.3 seconds over Van Gisbergen. They're catching him, Mick.
Yeah, and certainly on the racetrack to the eye, it looks like Shane Van Gisbergen is clawing about a car length or 2 every lap. He's got it down to about 2 car lengths, Christopher Bell. Mark, it's the battle for second.
The lion's share of that is happening on the more technical portions of this race course where fellow drivers marvel at his braking ability. But when Bell gets back out onto the oval, that's where he's able to get some of that advantage back.
And as they go through turn 5 right now for that second position, Shane Van Gisbergen, 2 car lengths behind Christopher Bell. They made that blind slope right-hander to turn 6, and Van Gisbergen more aggressive on the brakes into turn 7, but he has to stay in line behind Bell, Michael Young, as they pull back onto the vacant. Kyle Larson pulls way ahead.
Van Gisbergen so strong at the exit of turn number 7. They make their way through turn number 8, now working their way through turn number 9. The battle for second, Christopher Bell, 2 car lengths behind is Shane Van Gisbergen.
Both Bell And SVG out next to the wall now. Pull those steering wheels to the left. Now back to the right in turn 11 and turn 12. Climb the banking over here in turn 13 and 14. Let's call it about 6 car lengths separate second and third.
Let's go to Brett McMillan.
Well, Mark, to underscore what you were talking about, it looks like this last playoff spot in the final 8 is going to come down to Logano or Chastain. They are now giving Joey Logano Ross Chastain's lap times every time by.
Ross Chastain currently running in the 14th spot. Joey Logano running 20th. The gap on the cut line is +3, and the gap on second place is tightening, Nick.
It's down to just a car length as Shane Van Gisbergen puts the pressure on. Took a look to the inside of turn number 3. Gets back in line right at the tire tracks of Christopher Bell.
Tugged that wheel ever so slightly through that bender between 3 and 4. Now they exit and go full song. They'll be hard back into the throttle as Bell tries to shake loose from him. Gets to the inside of the racetrack, and he is stuck right in the tire tracks, right to the rear of that car.
30 laps to go, the twilight of this race. When they go through turn 5, though, that sun right in their eyes as Shane Van Gisbergen squeezes through turn 6 and then gets on the brakes hard through turn 7 and gets almost to 0 miles an hour for up through the gearbox again. Move him around, Christopher Bell, SVG to P2.
Fantastic pass by Shane Van Gisbergen. One more down, one more to go, and that's the leader, Kyle Larson. Larson already in turn number 10, still a couple of seconds ahead of Van Gisbergen.
Got his work cut out for him now as he enters turn number 10. Talking about Shane Van Gisbergen to catch the leader, Kyle Larson, who right now is almost to the halfway point of 13 and 14. It's just the banking that Van Gisbergen is now coming up to speed. He's got a long way to go to catch the 5 car.
Here comes Kyle Larson. Let's see if he gains on second with that battle that Van Gisbergen had on Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson comes by. It'll be 29 laps to go in the Bank of America Roval 400. The lead for that number 5 of Larson was 3.7 seconds over Bell. Now 3.9 seconds over Van Gisbergen, Nick.
And this thing was built on pit lane. Wendy Venturini touched on how fired up Kyle Larson's crew was. They got him to track position. Now Markey's got to hang on as Shane Van Gisbergen turns it up.
Really got wide and went almost out of bounds at the midway point between 3 and 4, but that's allowed him to keep that momentum up and hopefully keep that advantage as he already glides it up the hill to turn 5.
Kyle Larson, twice a winner this race, up and down the hill through turn 5, then shimmies through turn 6 very smoothly there, keeps his car on the track this time, and gets on the brakes into turn 7. Shane Van Gisbergen's opened up about a 5 car length advantage over Christopher Bell as Van Gisbergen babies it through that slow turn 7 elbow corner and back onto the banking ahead of third place Bell.
Kyle Larson trying to build a little momentum in the playoffs. Shane Van Gisbergen out of the playoffs trying to get himself a win. Still a couple of seconds, but I will say he has closed it down this time through. Kyle Larson through the chicane.
Here's Larson smoothly through 10. Now back to the right in turn 11. Exit turn 12 up onto the bank in Van Gisbergen. About 10 or 12 car lengths now in front of C. Bell. He too working the bottom of the racetrack. Here's the leader back to the chicane.
As Kyle Larson comes by, this time it'll be 28 laps to go here in the Bank of America Roval 400.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
WeatherGuard says thank you to today's safety and ops crews that keep the track running like a well-oiled machine. This year's crew is once again sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck and Van Equipment. WeatherGuard, established in 1968. Prove it every day. Learn more at weatherguard.com.
Tyler Reddick heads to that front stretch chicane. This will be his 6th stage victory of the year, a very important one.
This is Tyler Reddick, driver the number 45 for 2311 Racing. NASCAR Network Radio drives business.
We're here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Bank of America Roval 400, getting into the closing stages. Kyle Larson leading Shane Van Gisbergen by 3.3 seconds. You're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Brett McMillan. The opinions fly fast and furious each week on the Pit Reporters.
Every other major league sport has a playoff system, so I think the playoff system should stay. I do think there's maybe slight middle ground where there could be some changes that are made.
I do remember seasons where this championship had been decided well before the last few races, so it just isn't quite the same vibe that we have now.
Join us each week for the Pit Reporters.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The pit cycles are moving fast here in the Bank of America Roval 400 with 27 to go. Brett McMillan, what's happening in your section?
Well, we've had A.J. Allmendinger and the 45 car of Tyler Reddick have both come in and pitted. And when A.J. Allmendinger left, they told him, get all you can because we're going to come in one more time. So I'm going to assume that Reddick's thinking the exact same thing. Hey, you know what? Insanity's doing the same thing as everybody else and expecting it to be different. Why not try something different, Alan Cavana?
Well, Chris Buescher's running too well to change up the strategy. They've been just in that second group. He's running about 4th or 5th all day, and they're the first to pit out of that group, and he's been on and off pit road once again. Really happy with their car. Not sure what they have for the top 3 right now, but again, being one of the first in that group, just behind them to pit. He's been consistent with that all day.
Mark, I see tires on the wall right now for Kyle Larson. Nothing for Shane Van Gisbergen. Remember, Kyle Larson pitted a lap ahead of Van Gisbergen the last time, and he stretched out a major lead.
Yeah, it proved to be very pivotal right there. So Shane Van Gisbergen is far enough behind Larson that he could match that pit stop if they decided to come, and his crew chief goes, all right, he comes, we come. We'll have to see how it works out.
Van Gisbergen in just a couple of laps has whittled down Kyle Larson's lead to 1.5 seconds now. And as we look at the leaders on the racetrack, Pat, they're headed down the back straightaway toward the chicane.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen now trying to make up some more time where he's really good at getting through 10, 11, and 12. But Larson has matched him back here the last few laps. They do it again and work their way off of turn number 12. Now back up onto the banking. But certainly you can see very clearly Van Gisbergen is gaining ground on the leader.
As they come out of turn 4, does Larson pit? No, he doesn't. His crew is on the wall with tires. They bypass the pit lane. SVG closes in as they come out of the hard left hand, turn number 17, hit the stripe as they go across it with 25 laps to go. The gap, Larson to Van Gisbergen, is going to be 1.2 seconds.
And moments ago, it was about 3.5 seconds. Larson over Shane Van Gisbergen to disadvantage about 5 car lengths. Let's go to Wendy Venturini.
Christopher Bell on pit road. A little mishap on the right side of the car. We're going to see how that affects on pit road once he gets back out on the track. I saw the right front tire come around and a little bit of a delay from the jackman. Christopher Bell down and away at lap 84. Alan Cavana.
Chase Briscoe on pit road. Clean right side over to the left. Looking clean on that as well. On and off pit road for the 19 team.
Let's pick up the leaders, Doug Turnbull.
They're exiting turn 7, and Shane Van Gisbergen had a really good slow corner into 7 as he chases Kyle Larson still by about 7 or 8 car lengths, Michael Long.
Kyle Larson has lost what was once a 3-second lead. Now has it down to about 15 car lengths, but needs to save as much underneath him as he can for the last portion of this stage number 3. Still 4 car lengths over Van Gisbergen.
Gisbergen gets into turn number 10, a little bit better than Larson that time, a little slow leaving turn 12 onto the banking, though. I'll call it a very tight 10 cars that separate first from second here as they head to 15.
Larson again into the front straightaway chicane. Eases on to the left-hand side. His crew is relaxed on pit road. They have not made a stop. Van Gisbergen again closes the gap. Went from 4 car lengths to 2 as they head to 1.
This is going to get interesting. Do you pit before you start dueling for position, or is Shane Van Gisbergen going to race up and take it from Kyle Larson? He's got it down, Mark James, to about 2.5 car lengths as they bend to the right of turn 3.
And again, this is the portion of the racetrack in which he really starts to close, especially down there in turn 7. Got a couple of of turns to negotiate before they get there. But that gap is down to about 3 car lengths now as they set up for turn number 5.
And very important here to get that clean air, too, for Shane Van Gisbergen as it affects their pit sequence. Up and down the hill through turn 5. Kyle Larson and Shane Van Gisbergen both through turn 6 smoothly. Van Gisbergen closer to the line of the apex. Now he breaks after him in the turns here and squares off the corner right in the tire tracks of the leader. Kyle Larson still leads, but that lead is vanishing, Michael Young.
Van Gisbergen does not want to allow Kyle Larson to go to the pit lane without him taking the lead first. Van Gisbergen now 2 car lengths. He'll look to the inside for the first time. Has it down to a car length.
SVG right to the bumper of Larson into turn number 10. Back to the left now. Back over to the right. Stays hooked right to the bumper of the 5 car now and will stay within a half a car length of Kyle Larson. Will anybody come to the pit road this time, or will both of them perhaps come to the pit road? Not going to happen. They stay in the throttle.
Right on the back bumper, Shane Van Gisbergen chases Kyle Larson to the front stretch chicane. All of this 20 seconds ahead of third place Ryan Preece. Van Gisbergen will follow him. He starts to peak low as they head across the start-finish line back to 1.
Just 23 laps to go here at the Roval. Kyle Larson sweating it out. Shane Van Gisbergen right on the back bumper as they bend to the left of turn number 2. Does Shane take a look to the inside? Thought about it. Gets back in the tire tracks right on the back bumper of Kyle Larson.
We'll see if he carries momentum into 4 and then drag races him into turn number 5. He thought about going to the outside between 3 and 4. Larson gets a really nice launch off of the turn, and he's opened up to a car length, but that gap quickly vanishes as they set up for turn 5.
That Jaws music getting loud in Kyle Larson's helmet right now as both drivers, Larson and Van Gisbergen, go through turn 6. Now Van Gisbergen outbreaks him into 7. Move him around Larson. He's going to get in front of him by the apex of that turn. New leader Shane Van Gisbergen up through the gearbox into turn 8.
And Van Gisbergen launches out of turn number 7 now through turn number 8. Easily gaps himself 4 car lengths over Kyle Larson. It is, let's go down to pit lane to Brett McMillan.
And Joey Logano came in. He said the handling is completely gone. They came in a little bit earlier than they wanted to, but Logano made the call, or at least told Paul Wolf to make the call, and Logano said, it's gone. So he came in, got 4 fresh tires and a 10 flat top.
As they come out of turn number 14, Larson bypasses pit lane, thought he was coming. SVG is leading this race for the 6th time. We take a break with 22 laps to go here on the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Hey, here's the hot dogs. What did I miss?
The leader took the inside track on turn 4. Basically, pretty sweet bump and run.
Awesome. Then what?
Someone caught about a foot of air in the hairpin on turn 7. Stayed off the wall, though.
Nice. What else?
Oh, there was a slingshot that led to a lead change. Almost a crash.
That it?
I think so.
Seems about right. It is only lap 3.
Celebrate the race that brings us together. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Proud sponsor of the Bank of America Roval 400. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Make your plans now to stay at the South Point Hotel Casino and Spa when NASCAR returns to Las Vegas. They have great race ticket and room packages for you to choose from. The South Point also features a wide variety of excellent dining options at 11 different restaurants. Or you can enjoy the 16-screen movie complex and visit the 64-lane bowling center. Visit southpointcasino.com and make your reservations today. Stay where the racers stay at the South Point Hotel Casino and Spa.
Back at the Bank of America Roval 400, we've got 22 laps to go. Ross Chastain just came in for his pit service. We're watching that cut line right now for the playoffs. Let's see if Shane Van Gisbergen and or Kyle Larson, first and second, come to pit road this time by. Shane Van Gisbergen will bypass, as will Kyle Larson. This time it's going to be 21 laps to go. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me every Monday night for another great episode of Fast Talk.
I watched the race on TV, and they wanted to give him the mantle of greatest of all time, and he's won 4 races in a row. And so I can't do that yet. But I do think what we're watching is a guy who's changing the sport. He's changing the way the other drivers approach road racing. He's making them study. He's making them up their game.
That's Fast Talk right here on the Performance Racing Network.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
Your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
This could be devastating for Ross Chastain, speeding on pit road for that last stop. He's going to have to do a drive-through penalty. The field is somewhat spread out. He might not lose that many positions. Shane Van Gisbergen will cross the start-finish line this time. It'll be 20 laps to go. But here comes Kyle Larson. He is coming in for what might be his final pit stop, Wendy Venturini.
Yeah, they call it the money stop, but it's also the money stop for the driver, as you just mentioned, Ross Chastain. It's got to be a clean in and a clean out for the drivers. No speeding. It's going to be 4 tires as they catch the left side tires. Cliff Daniels off the pit box, as always. Left side goes on. Jack is down. Kyle Larson with a solid stop.
So now we'll have to see if SVG will answer immediately. We take a look down in his pit area, and his crew is now preparing for a pit stop. Will it come this time? We saw Larson pit 1 lap ahead of SVG the last time. It wound up giving Larson a pretty big advantage.
It really did. And when Ross Chastain comes to serve the penalty right now, he's 2 spots above the cut line. He's now coming through turn number 14. This time he'll get back on the binders. It'll be a drive-through penalty. The bigger question, how many spots will he lose? Joey Logano now comes to the front straightaway, and he will pass Ross Chastain. Chastain on pit road, Logano on the racetrack. The bigger question, how many spots does Chastain lose? He's had a better car throughout the day. He's scored more stage points. So Chastain now coming to the exit of pit road. Logano goes into turn number 1. Chastain now exiting pit road. He's going to come out and lose several spots this time, Mark.
He's got to get digging now and do it in a hurry. Van Gisbergen has bypassed the pit lane. He comes to the start-finish line, and we can't even see the second place Kyle Larson. Where is Larson? He's coming out of the back straightaway chicane. That's how big of a gap Van Gisbergen has right now.
That is a pretty large gap here. So here comes Kyle Larson back onto the front straightaway. Christopher Bell, actually, by pitting before Kyle Larson, made up some ground on the number 5. Bell is running in the 3rd spot. Both he and Larson had pitted. Larson pitted 5 laps after Christopher Bell. That was worth a few tenths, Mark.
Was, and again, as we look down at SVG's pit lane, they've got tires over the wall, the pit crew stretching. This is going to be maybe the critical moment of this race.
Yeah, this could be a very critical moment for Shane Van Gisbergen as he works his way around this racetrack. Watching Ross Chastain back there, he's got to make up a couple of spots on Joey Logano. We have a car stop, Pat Patterson, at the entrance to the chicane. Keselowski stops, but Mark, he pulls off of the racetrack behind the wall. This is not going to have a slowdown in the race here today.
And that was a veteran move by Brad Keselowski not to upset the mix of the race. Van Gisbergen now through the back straightaway chicane. We have a number of cars pitting on pit road, but they are not the lead machines. Here's SVG. Is he going to get on the brakes this time and head for pit road? He does. He's now on the binders, off the banking. He's on the pit lane. Shane Van Gisbergen now making his last pit stop, or what we think will be his last pit stop of the afternoon. He'll do it in front of Brett McMillan.
And his crew is at the ready, standing in his pit stall, 2 tires ready to go. The rest of the crew on the wall awaiting his arrival. We'll see how much they go. Oh, he gets on the binders. He almost skids out on pit lane as there was a car coming out of pit road. So that was going to cost him a couple of seconds right there. Finally, they're around to the left side of the car. They finish off the stop. Good solid stop. 10 seconds flat, but he had to get on the binders as there was a car coming out of pit lane, and he almost spun out here coming into his pit stall.
Larson and Bell pass SVG. He blends back out onto the racetrack in the 3rd position, and now with 18 laps to go, he's got to chase down Larson and Bell.
Off of turn number 4, the leaders. There goes Kyle Larson. There goes Christopher Bell. There goes Shane Van Gisbergen. And now there's Chris Buescher. All of those four kind of looped in together now as they crest the hill.
Yeah, Chris Buescher on older tires right behind Shane Van Gisbergen. They go down the hill at turn 6 as the leader Kyle Larson goes conservatively into turn 7. Only a car length back is second place Christopher Bell. But SVG on newer rubber, can he catch those top 2 leaders?
Kyle Larson, 6 car length advantage over Christopher Bell. Then it's about another 15 car lengths back to Shane Van Gisbergen. Kyle Larson off of turn number 9. Comfortable advantage over Christopher Bell.
Well, we saw him run him down before, so we'll see if he can run him down again. Here's Larson making his way through 10, 11, and 12. Back up onto the banking. Call it 10 car lengths back to second place running number 20 of C. Bell. Then it's a long way back to SVG.
Kyle Larson, 5-lap fresher tires than Christopher Bell. Shane Van Gisbergen, he has 2-lap fresher tires than Kyle Larson. Van Gisbergen runs in third behind Bell and Larson. What held up Van Gisbergen on pit road, Austin Dillon was exiting his pit box. Just some ill timing on that as the leaders head to 1.
That's all it takes to give up a few seconds or tenths of a second on the racetrack. That's why Kyle Larson has the lead he has. It's about 4 or 5 car lengths over Bell. Another 10 back to Shane Van Gisbergen.
Pressure on these drivers, pressure on these race strategists sitting up on the pit box making these calls. Timing is everything, and so far, timing's gone well for Kyle Larson as he sets up for turn number 5.
As he comes through 5 there, it's in the shade, and there are lap vehicles that he could catch in a couple of laps. Kyle Larson down the hill, off camber, blind turn into turn 6. Christopher Bell riding his tire tracks, a couple of car lengths behind. Then it's about twice the distance back to Shane Van Gisbergen to third as the leaders are on the brakes and on the gas hard, exiting that left-hander turn 7.
Kyle Larson so smooth at the exit of turn number 7, able to gap himself now 15 car lengths over Christopher Bell, another 20 car lengths back to Shane Van Gisbergen. So Van Gisbergen closing on Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson still has the lead.
All right, up front, once again, here's Larson. Nobody to worry about in terms of traffic in front of him at this point as he works through the chicane. Back up onto the 24 degree of banking. He and Bell actually match each other time-wise, getting back up and getting going here. Here's Van Gisbergen trying to close the gap.
Again, they will slalom along the front chicane, left, right, back to the left. And so we have, with 16 laps to go, Larson is your leader. Christopher Bell, currently in the second spot, is 0.9 tenths of a second behind, 2.2 for Shane Van Gisbergen. We'll take a break and come right back.
The Earnhardt family has always trusted Bass Pro Shops for all their outdoor needs, and I continue to be a proud customer. I grew up shopping here, and now I love bringing my family here to gear up for all our adventures together. And now, Bass Pro Shops Club members enjoy special savings and earn points towards free gear, which is rewarding when buying what you need for your next adventure. Spending time outdoors with the ones you love, sharing memories and making new ones, that's an Earnhardt family tradition that I'm proud to carry on.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Oh, like replacing my bike in case of an accident?
Progressive's total loss coverage can help with that.
Great. And you also agree with me that my riding club should ride to the aquarium instead of cruising around a mountain, right?
Actually, we just do insurance. We don't vote in riding clubs.
Nice. 2 votes for the turtle exhibit.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
What are you, some kind of turtle hater?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
16 laps to go here at the Roval. Kyle Larson leads Christopher Bell and Shane Van Gisbergen. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Grab a friend and pack the cooler. Saturday Night Racing returns to North Wilkesboro Speedway October 18th for the ZMAX Cars Tour Championship. See rising stars like Keelan Harvick compete against short track racing's best in season finals for Pro Late Model Stock, and the Smart Modified Tour. Party down North Wilkesboro style with the ZMAX Cars Tour Saturday, October 18th. For tickets, visit northwilkesborospeedway.com.
More than 200 members of Congress are standing up for AM radio listeners. The AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act will keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 39179. Tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
SVG has muscled his way past Christopher Bell. Now put him in the second spot. Kyle Larson, your leader, working his way off the banking of turn number 14 into 15. And again, we're about to set the gap, only 14 laps to go. SVG has Kyle Larson in the crosshairs as they work across the front chicane back to the left in the start-finish line. The gap is only 3 or 4 car lengths, and on the stopwatch, it is going to be just under 9/10 of a second.
He can see him, he can smell him, and it's down to about 4 car lengths as they both head to the left-hander of turn number 2. Kyle Larson's got 14 laps to hold off one of the best in the business.
Yep, lap winding down for sure, and that gap is shrinking. It's down to about 4 car lengths now as they make their way off at turn number 4. Kyle Larson with a pretty good launch, climbs on the binders, climbs the hill to turn 5.
Should we mention this is a rookie, Shane Van Gisbergen, going for his 5th win against a Titleist and Kyle Larson. They go down the hill through turn 6, just a couple of car lengths apart. Van Gisbergen will outbreak him and will dive right under him and make contact in turn 7. They both get on the gas at the same time. Larson doors it back, and Van Gisbergen hits him in the rear, but stays in second.
Van Gisbergen only a half car length behind Kyle Larson. Larson with the lead, exiting turn number 9. They'll drag race. Shane Van Gisbergen will look to the inside. They're side by side.
Here comes Van Gisbergen. It's Larson to the outside. Van Gisbergen's got the spot. They are so close together. They chase each other out of turn number 12. Van Gisbergen and Larson locked together. Here they come, bottom of the racetrack in turn 13 and 14. It's drawn Bell back into the picture. It's a tightrope act headed back to the 15.
For the 7th time, Shane Van Gisbergen will lead the Bank of America Roval 400. Ty Dillon, though, he could be the jam car in the way. Van Gisbergen now has pressure from Kyle Larson, who's driven to his inside.
Kyle Larson was beaten on the back bumper through the chicane, and he opens up the door. They go wheel to wheel into turn number 1, but trade a little sheet metal at the exit of the corner. Larson on the inside takes the lead back. Here comes Christopher Bell. Shane Van Gisbergen swerving back and forth. He may have a problem in third.
And he starts to fade a little bit, but climbs right back into it. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell all over Kyle Larson at the exit of turn number 4. Shane Van Gisbergen, he's back into the throttle. He's all over Steve Bell as they make the right-hander.
The Kiwi recoils at third spot. Shane Van Gisbergen looking at the rear bumper of Christopher Bell as Kyle Larson shimmies away through turn 6. He turns right, gets a couple of car lengths ahead. Now, Van Gisbergen pulls the string of Bell. He will go around him for second spot at turn 7. Bell will give him a little bit of a push, but SVG back to P2 as Kyle Larson streaks away.
3-way dogfight to the finish. Shane Van Gisbergen bounces back to that second position. Still about a 10 car length deficit to Kyle Larson. Larson gaps himself. Shane Van Gisbergen back on the charge.
Here's the leader into turn number 10. Left-hand corner now back to the right. Quickly get the wheel straightened back out and exit 12. Van Gisbergen, let's call it 7 car lengths behind him as they enter the 24-degree banking. Work the very bottom of the racetrack. Shane Van Gisbergen trying to close back in on Kyle Larson.
No doubt Larson and Van Gisbergen have taken off the gloves. They're about to go bare knuckle in the closing stages of the Bank of America Roval 400 across the stripe. Only 12 laps to go. SVG on the prowl again.
My goodness, did it get exciting down here in turns 1 and 2 a lap ago. After they settled it out, Shane Van Gisbergen has put the target right on the back of Kyle Larson's car, and Markey's already got it down to 2 car lengths.
Yeah, they're certainly not done. There's no doubt about that, but there's some traffic in front of them. Some cars are going to have to negotiate. We'll see if that figures into the battle. One of those is Cody Ware. Although Larson gets a good launch off of turn number 4, opens it up to 3 car lengths in the setup of 5.
Let's see if the lap traffic plays into the next couple of laps. Kyle Larson, 2 car length lead over Shane Van Gisbergen as Christopher Bell is way back behind them. They go down the hill into turn number 7. Shane Van Gisbergen tries to outbreak Larson, but instead diamonds the corner and crosses the apex of that slow left-hander and stays right in his tire tracks.
Great launch out of turn number 7 for Shane Van Gisbergen. So to the fact he's already closed it down to a half car length. Shane Van Gisbergen drafting off of turn number 9. Once again, he'll look to the inside down to the chicane.
We are rubbing, racing, and rovaling. Look at Van Gisbergen. He gets the spot into turn number 10, off of turn 12 now. Needs to hold his momentum. He gets that done. He's back to the lead. Larson slides back about 3 car lengths here in the middle of 13 and 14.
Now for the 8th time today and the 2nd time in 2 laps, Shane Van Gisbergen resumes the lead in the Bank of America Roval 400 with just 11 laps to go.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Whether your engine runs daily or only when you need it, Z-Max Micro Lubricant is the force you need against carbon buildup that can damage your engine. Combustion causes carbon and other harmful deposits to build up in your engine, fuel system, and transmission. And carbon is like sandpaper rubbing against your engine's internal parts. You don't want that. You want Z-Max Micro Lubricant. It soaks into metal and keeps your vehicle running at peak performance. Find out more at zmax.com or visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Protect your engine to the max with Z-Max.
From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
No one's paying me to say this, but you've been our lifeline. We have no internet. We have no TV. We barely have cell service. I don't know how I'm able to get to you. My Wi-Fi is not working. And I have a radio, and I finally got power on, and I have it plugged in, and I could hear you. You're the only station I can get in.
Wow. Well,
That's
I'm
why
glad
we're
we're here.
So-
Wow.
The report that we got was that a severe tornado was heading right toward us. And I just want to commend you gentlemen for the job that you're doing, for keeping us informed.
I just wanted to say thank you for being on the radio and guiding us to, where we can get help.
I just want to tell you, the first thing I heard was your voices the next morning. Oh, shoot. And it made me cry. The comfort of hearing your voices.
My respiration, perspiration, and aggravation are sky high, but you guys have been the guiding light.
Your local AM station makes a difference.
We're back at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're working now with Shane Van Gisbergen. The next time by, there will be 9 to go. Joey Logano is pitted. Christopher Bell has pitted as well.
The interesting part of this, with Joey Logano, he pitted. He was actually ahead of Ross Chastain by 2 in the Cup Series point standings here on this cutoff race. And Logano back on track with fresher tires, actually racing very aggressively. He shoves Eric Jones out of the way, Zane Smith out of the way as well. Now that he crosses the start-finish line, Joey Logano -8 to Ross Chastain. Logano pits with 11 to go. Chastain had last pitted 10 laps ago, and will he stay out on the racetrack? And it looks like he might, Mark.
9 laps to go. Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson giving chase in turn 1. Right now we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Welcome back to the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now let's put this in perspective. We have 9 laps to go. Shane Van Gisbergen enjoys now a 2-second lead over Kyle Larson. We're watching the cut line right now. Joey Logano, Paul Wolfe has a strategy. I want fresher tires for the last 10 laps. Ross Chastain right now being kept out by Phil Surgeon. Chastain is 8 points above the cut line. Now 2 things can come into play here, Mark. On fresher tires, how many positions on the track can Joey Logano gain? That's number 1. Number 2 is out of the control of both of them. How many cars in between them will potentially pit? Chastain currently running in the 14th spot. Logano is 24th. If Alex Bowman, Stenhouse Jr., Haley, Gilliland, John Hunter Nemechek, any one of those pits, that's the advantage of Joey Logano. That will allow Logano to make up spots on Chastain.
But we are so late in this race right now. Next time by, SVG will have it 8 laps to go. Here's Kyle Larson. They roll the bones. They're rolling the dice. They're going to pit again. Let's go to Wendy Venturini.
I absolutely love Cliff Daniels. He is fearless. They were deciding if they wanted to come down pit road or not. He said, if you come to pit road, you will be behind Bell and Buescher. What do you want to do? And Kyle Larson said, I'm good with whatever you decide. Cliff Daniels said, bring it down and go hard when you get back out out there, Brett McMillan?
Well, you guys talked about it. The reason Joey Logano came in is because they had one set of sticker tires left. And that's exactly why they came in, put them on, kind of throwing that Hail Mary that fresher tires can make the difference when it comes into this race. Alec Cabana.
The other side of that, Ross Chastain and crew have a set of stickers, but they told Ross on the radio, we are not coming for another final pit stop, so you got what you got. You have to hold on and get that points lead to advance.
I think the pit stop by Kyle Larson. We've seen it 2 days in a row in the Craftsman Truck Series race and Xfinity race, a late yellow. Late yellow, they got way better tires than Shane Van Gisbergen if they get the caution.
We have 8 laps to go here. Right now, the gap on the cut line, Ross Chastain, 7 points over Joey Logano, and this is getting interesting here. Kyle Larson pitting. Here comes our leader out of turn number 14. Shane Van Gisbergen will hit the front straightaway and dive into the front stretch chicane. Ty Dillon has actually been hounding in front of him on the racetrack. Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be on his bumper. Nick Yeoman, Van Gisbergen wants to drop Dillon and get him out of the way.
Well, and here's the question for SVG. Should he pit and try to seal off the strategy for Larson? Right now, he's just digging hard in that red, white, and blue Chevrolet, still try to get around Dillon in turn 3.
Not able to do it yet at the exit of turn number 3. Dillon's not making it easy for him. He sits it to the bottom of the racetrack, which is the preferred line through there. Good launch out of the turn, and they'll zip along the straightaway, set up for turn number 5.
As they come into the sunshine, then into the shade, Shane Van Gisbergen still in the tire tracks of the lap machine of Ty Dillon. In front of them, also Carson Hocevar, as Van Gisbergen slides a little bit at turn 6. Then he angles under Dillon. Nope, he doesn't. Stays in line there, exiting that just minuscule speed in turn 7.
The sun very bright in this North Carolina sky, but it's setting on the field. Shane Van Gisbergen with a commanding lead, but indeed he is losing ground with the rest of the field, taking on new tires. He'll look to the inside of Ty Dillon.
Yeah, he'll make the move this time and get around the 10 car, the leader into turn number 10, back over to 11, makes that exit out of 12 back up onto the banking. Ty Dillon slides back a few spots now, is out of his way. Here's the leader midway through 13 and 14.
This time by, it's going to be 6 laps to go in the Bank of America Roval 400. We will come back and take you green flag to the checkered flag presented by Toyota.
So you're a Toyota Cup driver and you just made it to the playoffs. Now all you have to do is win. Easy. Just turn left, right? That and start strong, take off, reach 200 miles per hour, maintain a good position, no big deal, lap again, time your pit stops, steer clear of accidents, talk to your crew chief like your best friend, and most importantly, turn left. Easy, right? You in? Get up to speed at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
Hey, here's the hot dogs. What did I miss?
The leader took the inside track on turn 4. Basically, pretty sweet bump and run.
Awesome. Then what?
Someone caught about a foot of air in the hairpin on turn 7. Stayed off the wall, though.
Nice. What else?
Oh, there was a slingshot that led to a lead change. Almost a crash.
That it?
I think so.
Seems about right. It is only lap 3.
Celebrate the race that brings us together. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Proud sponsor of the Bank of America Roval 400. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway, you're listening to PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
My fiance is a veteran.
I did tours in Korea, Germany, and Bosnia before I got injured.
When Yusuf got out of the military, he needed help getting his disability benefits.
Luckily, DAV came to the rescue. They fought for me the same way that I fought for my country.
Every year, DAV provides life-changing support to more than 1 million veterans.
My victory is never giving up and finding more ways to serve.
He's pretty amazing.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me for another great episode of Fast Talk. We have NASCAR Hall of Famer Kurt Busch. What does a much older, wiser Kurt Busch want to tell Carson Hocevar?
Well, let's bust out all the VHS tapes and you can watch all my mistakes. Try not to do those, Carson. I like what he's doing. He's learning, and he's putting his time in up front.
That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
Welcome back to the Roval here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 5 laps to go. We're going to take you to the checkered flag presented by Toyota. For the latest Toyota Gazoo racing information, visit tgrna.com.
In crunch time for the Bank of America Roval 400 and eBay leaderboard. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Shane Van Gisbergen about to cross the start-finish line. When he does, it'll be 4 laps to go. He enjoys an 18-second lead over Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson runs in 3rd. 4th is Chris Buescher. Micah McDowell 5th. 6th, Ryan Preece. Daniel Suarez 7th. A.J. Allmendinger is 8th. 9th, Chase Elliott. 10th is Ryan Blaney.
11th is going to be William Byron. 12th, Josh Berry. Tyler Reddick 13th. 14th, Ty Gibbs. Chase Briscoe 15th. 16th, Ross Chastain. Denny Hamlin 17th. 18th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Alex Bowman 19th. 20th, Bubba Wallace.
As we look at the playoffs cut line in the leaderboard, right now, Ross Chastain 4 points over Joey Logano. Joey Logano will have the tiebreaker should it come down to that. It almost did last night in the Xfinity Series race. Brett McMillan.
Well, they're telling Joey Logano that he's faster than the 3 guys in front of him, that he should catch them. And if he does that, that should be good enough to get him in, as Chastain has lost a few spots for the last few laps.
Chastain is all by himself now. It looks like he may be able to, or not be able to rather, pass the cars up in front of him. They are Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry. Berry, though, out of control right there, so he might be able to pass at least one more car.
Joey Logano just got around John Hunter Nemechek. That's the good news. That's going to put Ross Chastain at +3. The bad news, there's a lot of racetrack between Joey Logano and Todd Gilliland right now, as we just have 4 laps to go, and Shane Van Gisbergen is coming back to the front straightaway. It'll be 3 laps to go this time by. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen. He just got around the lap car of Austin Dillon, who had trouble. Makes the final right-hander in turn number 17, and now a left-hander as he heads back into turn 1.
Yep, strategy clearly going to be for Shane Van Gisbergen. Ride this thing out and pray for no yellow flags. The advantage is a massive 18 seconds right now over Christopher Bell. Nice and smooth. Shane Van Gisbergen sweeps to the right-hander of turn 3.
Bell has his own set of worries, though, with Kyle Larson. He's been drawing a bead on him for the last couple of laps. Van Gisbergen, don't know the traffic's going to be much of a concern. It runs well in front of him now as he exits turn 5.
As Bell and Larson are in turn 2 right now, Shane Van Gisbergen exits turn 5. That's the gap, and he has clear track in front of him, at least for now. Van Gisbergen down the hill in turn 6, and then on the brakes right now on a spot of sunshine, but he's going to baby that car through turn 7. Remember, he's on older tires than a lot of the rest of the field as he's back through the gearbox and back to the throttle in 8.
I would imagine if we could look inside the cockpit of that WeatherTech Chevrolet, Shane Van Gisbergen's fingers are crossed, hoping that a caution does not come out. A commanding lead as he heads his way down the back straightaway.
Here's the leader working his car off of the wall, driver's right, back over to the left, turn 10, turn 11, and turn 12. Quickly disposes with all of that. Back up through the gearbox again for the WeatherTech machine, midway through 13 and 14.
Nothing but clear racetrack ahead for the leaders. There are cars battling on the racetrack. Van Gisbergen again hoping there is no yellow flag. SVG across the stripe. It's going to be just 2 laps to go here in the Bank of America Roval 400.
Just up the road from Shane Van Gisbergen, Joey Logano starting to get some pressure put on by Cole Custer. That's not good for his playoff hopes. As for SVG, nice and smooth to the left-hander of turn number 2, now swings it to the right of turn 3.
Again, lots of clean green racetrack for Shane Van Gisbergen. He works his way off at turn number 4. He leaves that Bank of America tunnel, if you will. Climbs back into the throttle now and glides it up the hill into turn number 5.
Now, all these strategies, cars spread all over this racetrack. Shane Van Gisbergen on older tires trying to win this race. Ross Chastain in the back of the tire, top 20 on older tires, trying to secure his playoff spot in the top 8. Van Gisbergen through turn 7 right now, and second place Christopher Bell is just in turn 5 with Kyle Larson behind.
Silky smooth all day long has been Shane Van Gisbergen. He makes his way through turn number 8, now enters turn number 9. Headed down the back straightaway. He'll set up for the chicane in turn number 10.
Bright sunshine now for the leader as he works his way into turn number 10. To the left, now back to the right. Now straighten the wheel out. Exit turn number 12. Van Gisbergen climbs the banking in turn 13 and 14. making his way back to the front stretch.
White flag is out for Shane Van Gisbergen. He enjoys a 16-second lead over a battle between Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell for second. Van Gisbergen now comes out of turn number 17. He'll see the white flag. The cut line, Ross Chastain still +3 over Joey Logano.
Yeah, and Bell and Larson looked like they were trading some paint on the backstretch in that battle for second, but all eyes are on car 88. Shane Van Gisbergen, the NASCAR rookie, trying to go to victory lane once again. Smoothly through turn number 2, sets up for the right-hander of turn 3.
Plenty of talented road course drivers over the years in NASCAR, and along comes this guy and raises the bar off of turn number 4 for what he hopes will be the final time. He races to turn number 5 with nothing but clean green racetrack in front of him.
Sunset in Charlotte and sunset in this race. Shane Van Gisbergen going for his 5th win of the year and 5th straight road course win. Most wins in a season for a rookie. Van Gisbergen down the hill and downshifting into turn 7, a final time right over the apex with clean track in front of him. Your leader is still Shane Van Gisbergen by a lot.
Auckland, New Zealand is a long, long ways away from Charlotte, North Carolina, but today may be the day Shane Van Gisbergen calls the Roval his home away from home. He'll head to turn number 10 for the final time.
Here comes the leader into turn number 10. Shane Van Gisbergen left now, back to the right of turn 11. Exits turn number 12. Is going to climb the 24-degree banking one last time here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here comes your leader, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Again, no traffic up ahead for Shane Van Gisbergen. Shane, for the playoff contenders, Shane was the pain that never went away. Van Gisbergen is going to win the Bank of America Roval 400. Second place, Kyle Larson is nowhere in sight. Van Gisbergen has won 5 straight road races in 2025.
Watching the battle right now on this final lap. Joey Logano, a 1-point advantage, or Ross Chastain, a 1-point advantage over Joey Logano.